Okay, we're live.
Perfect.
Uh,
Trey, you
yeah.
wanna start?
Which fight? Which fight?
Andre Direll versus I massacre his name if I try to pronounce it, but the Colombian Jose Usaki.
Who's who's Kadagi?
Man, we
Something
both
like
know we don't want to even try to say it.
that.
I'm gonna call
well,
him Uzi, man. Fuck that.
Yeah,
well,
Andre Dirrell's most current fight.
me personally, I was going for Katagi because of all the shit that went down in the first fight. You know what I'm saying? Him getting sucker punched and all that kind of stuff. From just a fan standpoint, I was pulling for him. Karma and shit. And he kind of got a weird style. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I kind
Yeah,
of
it
felt
is.
like Direll should have been able to do a little bit better against him because his style just looked kind of crazy. He was a tall guy. He was bent over. He was coming forward the whole time. He had some little subtle defense that he was doing. His arms looked long as fuck. But them whole,
Yo, I was saying the same shit. I thought it was Doctor Octopus.
you know what I'm saying? But I give it to him, and I was going for him. He went in there and he did his thing. I'm happy for the dude.
Yeah, and he seems like he seems like a cool dude. I mean, he seems charismatic.
Yeah. Did you notice his eye though when he did the
Yeah, yeah,
interview?
yeah. I was talking the same thing because I was watching that with some family members, and I pointed it out. It looked like he
His
was ready to
iris was coming
freaking
off or something.
looked like
I
he was
noticed
ready
it
to
first.
freaking come out of a cocoon and shit, some reptilian type looking shit.
I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? I mean, I hope that ain't a sign of things to come. He seemed like a
Yeah,
cool dude. I hope he don't have no permanent eye injury or
yeah.
something.
To me, it looked like maybe his retina or or something like that might have. I don't know. It just looked at
Yeah,
it
I
looked
heard of
odd.
detached retinas, but that looked like his iris was
His
peeling
iris,
off
right?
or something.
It looked like his
Yeah,
iris.
Well, there's a
yes.
UFC fighter, Bisping, and
Michael
he
Bisping.
has certain liquid they put in his eye to hold a certain part of his eye in place, either his cornea or his retina, and that could be almost the same thing we were seeing. Just
Well,
to
the
touch
cor-
on that part.
well, the corner is the white. No, that's a sclera. I'm tripping. Never mind. Never mind. I'm
Yeah.
tripping.
I'm no eye surgeon, so I don't know the names of all these damn parts.
Well, I was in nursing school and shit, so I'm supposed to know all this shit down packed. But that was like 10 years ago though.
All
So
I know, his eye looked freaky and weird as fuck.
Yeah.
yeah,
If you ever
yeah, that
watched
might cause problems.
this show called Viking on the History Channel, I don't know if you guys ever caught it.
Yep.
One of Ragnar Lothbrok's son, it was called Sigurd, Snake in the Eye, or something like that. The little fucker had every time they showed the little kid in character, he had like a little thing, and one of his eyes that it looked like a little serpent or a little freaking worm in the eye. That's
Yeah,
how Uzi's eye was looking. It was looking weird. I don't know. It just looked
yeah,
Yeah.
like reptilian type shit.
yeah. I thought I was the only person that noticed that shit because I didn't really see nobody talking about it.
Yeah, I know, right? It was weird. But
Another thing. Sorry. Go ahead.
nah, you go ahead. You go ahead. I wasn't.
Another thing I seen besides the eye with Trey seen, I did notice Direll's opponent. Now I only caught a couple rounds, so like my input's just gonna be somewhat limited to what I seen. But I noticed the same thing that Trey noticed. He's a tall fighter, but he kind of fights low. I noticed that too. He doesn't fight tall, but he makes it work for him. And I thought personally in the first fight, even though it was pretty competitive, I thought he was getting the best out of him until the shot after the bell or whatever the controversy was. But I don't know. I think I see maybe only 4 rounds before it got stopped last night. But he seemed to be the most efficient one, and I just didn't find uh Direll wasn't really making the
Yeah,
adjustment. So there's no controversy on this one. He got stopped, but that's what really I only seen in that fight because there were so many fights going on last night. But
Oh, I
yeah, go
mean,
ahead, Francis.
Andre Dirrell, he had they put it on him. It was a one-sided ass whooping.
Yeah,
yeah,
But what's crazy is that it looked. like a fight that carried over from the last fight, with
Yeah,
Andre Direll taking those shots. He went into the fight, intimidated. It's almost as if he was, remembering everything that happened the last fight and he didn't want to go through that episode again.
yeah.
And he didn't want to engage. I mean, and I remember I text Ty and I was telling him, bro, like, does Andre Durrell even know what an uppercut is?
I
Because
was like, where the fuck is the uppercut?
Yeah, it
this
should have
guy
been
was.
there.
If I'm talking about from round one, this guy's like leaning in like in range, just like daring him to throw the uppercut with his, you know,
No, I was
with his,
thinking that I was like maybe Andre Direll know he wants him to throw the uppercut or something. He looking for a counter or something. I just couldn't understand why he wasn't throwing it.
I think it's mental pressure because when a guy puts mental pressure on you, it's called mental pressure for a reason. It forces you to make decisions. And that's why a lot of boxers that make mistakes that get walked down and stuff, that's a part of the reason why they get walked down because they don't make those quick conscious decisions that they should make. So you know what I mean? The guy was putting a lot of pressure on Direll, so he just, you know what I mean? It's like if we're watching it, it's easy to say throw the uppercut, but you know what I mean? It's like it's almost like he didn't see it because of that, because that mental pressure is a motherfucker, man.
Oh
oh,
yeah,
the mental pressure. I mean, it's there, but this is something Andre Durrell has been doing since he was a kid. You know,
True.
it's something he should already have muscle memory to be able to execute. And even if the guy does try to counter you, you know what I'm saying, and but at least try, you know what I mean, because whatever you're doing is not working. Try
yeah.
something else.
You
The
getting your
Did
ass
uppercut is
anybody
whooped
there,
anyway.
huh?
I said you getting your ass whooped anyway.
You're getting pummeled, man. The guy's beating you to a pulp, so
did
and
anybody
then the
catch the
thing is that
corner?
Yeah.
yeah, he's. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
Did,
off. He's
did anybody catch the corner? Like, did anybody see in the corner if they were telling him to throw the left uppercut?
No, I don't
no,
remember
because
Virgil
they
Hunter
were,
saying do that. He was just telling the motherfucker fight. God damn,
yeah.
it's a fight. Let's get to work.
Virgil
Yeah,
Hunter gave him. He might have not gave. I mean, I really didn't hear everything that was in the corner because it was like partially, corner footage. They seldom, put the corners and see what was going on.
yeah,
But Virgil Hunter gave him the great advice. You're in a fucking firefight, man. This dude's coming to fight. You gotta hold your ground, man, and thump with this guy, or
yeah.
he's gonna walk right all over you. I mean, any trainer would tell you the same thing. But it's Andre Dirrell was giving him way, way, way too much respect, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Punches will do that sometimes.
The guy's a puncher, but you could hit hard too. You know what I'm saying? He has at some point you're gonna have to say, man, this guy he's not gonna run me up out this ring like that, And you got
Yeah.
to man up, exactly like what Wilder did to Ortiz. Ortiz, man, was good. If Wilder wouldn't have, bit down on his mouthpiece and just let Ortiz, take over the fight, we'd have a different, outcome right now, and there'd be a new champion.
That's a good
Wilder,
point because I found
Wilder,
that
yeah, yeah,
I found that first that Wilder was kind of giving up his ground due to Ortiz reacting every time he threw something, and then when he finally made a conscious mental decision to stop giving up ground and start letting shit go when he got a little bit confident when he started landing, I think that made all the difference. It showed a lot of character in him. Did you see that, Drake?
I mean, me personally, I kind of felt like Wilder was just, letting the guy, like when you first get in the ring, the other guy gonna be fresh. So I kind of felt like Wilder was letting him, kind of die down a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Get past that initial surge, and then let's let the guy get tired a little bit, and then
Yeah.
he might not be as quick on his counters. His counters might not be as crisp. His reflexes might not be as good. You know what I'm saying? So if get him down there a little bit, maybe you can sneak a couple shots through. Because all Wilder only need to get one through, and he can change the course of the fight. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
I mean, Ortiz was definitely doing this thing, though. I don't want to take nothing from Ortiz. He was doing this thing. It was a great fight. I was happy with everything.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Trey. What did you think about the extra time that Wilder was given in
See, I was
after
looking
after
at
the
that, and
round he was hurt?
I know it didn't hurt Wilder. So for sure, if
Oh,
anything,
oh, he
benefited
definitely
him.
benefited from it.
He
There's no
benefited. He
doubt about it.
benefited. See, but this another thing. Ortiz was like 30 pounds heavier. And like I always inject myself into my boxing talk, but like it's a guy at my gym that I spar, this Hispanic guy, and he got a pretty nice size advantage over me too. And like he likes to get on the inside and roughen me up a little bit. He'll get me in the corners and shit. And like whenever he hits me, it don't hurt, but it knocks my balance off because he's so much bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? Like my balance just be fucked up. And after the fight, Wilder said he really wasn't that hurt, but his shots was knocking him off balance. And I can relate to that. So I think Wilder was hurt, but I think a lot of that had to do with him getting hit and getting his balance knocked off and shit, because the other guy is 30 pounds heavier than him. So it was hard for me to assess how hurt Wilder really was, because I saw him buzz, I saw him hurt, but at the same time, I saw him thinking, clearly he was trying to clinch and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like he was
No, no,
defending
he did a good
himself.
job.
He
Yeah,
was
good. Keep on.
he was defending himself intelligently. So I felt like he was hurt, but I couldn't really gauge how exactly hurt he was. So that when I say that, it makes it hard for me to know how much help he actually got from that break. But I do feel like it helped him.
Oh, I think my personal opinion, it was definitely beneficial. I mean, it wasn't it wasn't gonna hurt him.
Yeah, that's why I say I
Uh,
know it didn't hurt him. It had to help him, but I couldn't
yeah,
tell you
that obviously
how much.
did help him. The extra time did help him, but um, Ortiz's demeanor coming out for that round, regardless of how much time Wilder was given, he didn't step on the gas intelligently. I ain't saying go out there and do some crazy shit and run into a counter right hand and get knocked out, cold. But he needed to throw something hard at Wilder to gauge to see if he had recovered, put that mental pressure again. But then he started jabbing and looking for like a perfect punch, and it gave Wilder even more time to recover. So you can't just say it was, that time, that extra time he was given was the only reason why, Ortiz didn't knock him out. Ortiz played a hand in his own demise, not testing Wilder and seeing if, if he was completely back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, another thing that I noticed too, and I don't really hear nobody talking about it, is I didn't understand the deep tissue massage that Ortiz was getting between rounds. Like they was rubbing him down hard as a motherfucker. And I just didn't understand that, because that taxes the body, that taxes your muscles when you get massaged like that. That's why Thomas Hearns trainer, I
Yeah,
can't think of Emmanuel
Yeah,
Stewart.
Manny Stewart.
He was mad about Tommy getting that massage on his legs before the Marvin Hagler fight,
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
taxes your body when you get massaged like that. So I didn't understand why they was rubbing Ortiz down so much. To me, that put a little bit more fatigue on him.
That's
You
good
know,
observation.
it, it's it's a hell of an observation. Whether that attributed to some fatigue, I don't know, but it could be. I mean, if anything that Emmanuel Stewart said, if any of that was true, um, it could, I really don't know too many incidences where that has occurred, but it's possible. It's possible.
It seems to be
I
an old school opinion, because my old coach,
Mhm.
Coach Ball, he used to say the same thing. Like he was against getting those deep massages like that when it was close for you to fight. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He used to talk about that all the time. So it just seemed like a generational thing, because Emmanuel Stewart and my coach, they kind of from the same class a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So I'm
right.
thinking it might just be something generational, but I think it might have some truth to it also.
It very well could be. And to touch on the break that Wilder got, because let's be real, he got a break.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
definitely think it paid dividends, but to me, the reason why I don't like go on about it too much because it's too speculative for me to rain on Weiler's parade. I do like I know Weiler has bad balance and he's not the best at gaining position. That's why like when Trey was messaging me back and forth a little bit last night, he said, "Yeah, it looks worse because of the balance." I actually feel in that round he was actually hurt, but it's too speculative to take it away from Weiler. You know what I mean? And Sanctus made a great point saying it. He didn't really show the demeanor Ortiz that is. Anyways, like he would have jumped on Weiler anyway. So I mean, if people want to start nitpicking, they're going to use that. But to me, it don't matter. To me, just Weiler won the fight.
Okay, let me bring this up. What do you guys think about the referee's decision not stopping the fight? Because there were at least 15 plus punches that Ortiz threw, um, not being answered back by Wilder. You know, if it were certain different type of referees, man, that fight could have been stopped. I mean, we know that the guy that did the Joshua Takan fight, he would have stopped it.
Well, they stop fights fast over there in the UK anyway. They
Oh,
notorious for that. But
here they've done
the
that.
way
I
I'm
mean, I've seen Joe Mora. What is his name? Joe? No, no.
Jim, I'm tripping.
Mora. What's his name?
I named the fucking football coach Jim Moore.
Yeah,
Shit.
yeah. I forgot Russell Mora. I've seen Russell Mora being real quick with the hook and stopping fights.
Well,
We seen Russell, the old man that retired that did the Bradley Vargas fight, Pat Russell, but he didn't hear the bells according to him. I think he panicked. That's my opinion. But I
well, me,
mean,
Sorry, go ahead.
well, me
let's
personally,
stop it. Yeah,
since I
go ahead.
watch boxing, I see if a guy is defending himself intelligently and he ain't just sitting up there putting the earmuffs on and letting the guy wail on him, they'll kind of give him a
Well,
chance. You know what I'm saying? To
I
fight his way
really,
out of it.
I really didn't see Wilder defending himself. I
He's
mean,
trying to clinch.
no, 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 no. I'm talking about when he was getting bounced off the ropes and
Yeah,
he moved all over the place. He wasn't really defending himself. He was taking the shots. He was staying on his feet. He's showing a lot of grit, and
I saw him making an attempt to clinch.
yeah, no, he
see,
definitely clinched. But I mean, there was spots where he was just getting teed off on. I mean, Ortiz wasn't exactly landing the most cleaner punches. I'm just
I
saying,
know I noticed that
just
too.
just by you throwing a volume of punches and the guy ain't throwing back, there's a lot of referees here, even in the States, that would have stopped the fight. So I think that referee has to be given credit for, you know what I'm saying, not panicking and allowing the show to go on. You know,
That is the elephant in the room too. I'm glad you brought it up because
yeah.
I know what sequence you're talking about. And to be fair, it could have been stopped. I remember watching it with my girlfriend, and I'm like, they're going to stop this fight. But I do think, like, not to rain on his parade again, but I do think in a lot of other situations it would have got stopped. But I think he got the benefit of the doubt for being the champion. But to me, it still doesn't mean anything because if people are going to nitpick about that, I mean, how many lots of people get the benefit of the doubt being the champion and all other kinds of ways. Like how many fights have we seen where the doctors came in and stopped fights or you know what I mean? So it's just part of boxing. And even Ortiz said that because I watched the post fight pressure or presser yesterday, and they did bring that up to Ortiz, and I wouldn't even have faulted Ortiz for kind of throwing it in there. Yeah, I think they could have stopped the fight, but they didn't, and he didn't even address it. He just said it's part of boxing. It is what it is. So
Yeah, yeah,
it
he
just goes to
manned up,
show.
yeah, he
What?
manned up on it and he showed class, by
Yeah.
not making that an issue, or get,
Why
trying to
there was
still
about to get stopped. If that bell didn't ring, he would have got stopped because the ref. If you go back, if when the fight's on next time, the ref was just about to jump in. So I do think he get the benefit of the doubt a little bit because he's
I
the
know
champion, but I have no problem with it.
I have no doubt in my mind that if it was Tony Weeks, that fight would have got stopped.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're on point there.
or maybe Kenny Bayless. Those two guys, they're real quick to stop fights.
There was a lot of unanswered blows, but I mean, that's part of being a champion sometime. You know what I mean? Like,
Shit,
it's
I
the,
told y'all the
No,
story the other
I
day.
actually,
I
I
just told
actually
y'all the
like.
story about Sugar Ray Robinson getting 20 unanswered punches. And if you go back and look at that clip, I mean, of when I can't remember who the hell that was. We talked about it last time. But if you go back and look at
Yeah,
that clip, that shit look a whole lot worse than what Wilder went through last night.
you mentioned Carmen Basilio.
Yeah, I think it was either him or Gene Foreman.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
But it
yeah.
looked way worse than what Wilder went through last night. I mean,
I'm not.
I get a ref credit, but I don't feel like the fight should have been stopped. That's just my opinion. So
Oh,
I
I'm
feel like
not
the ref
against
did
that
the
at
right.
all. To be honest with you, I'm not against it. I just feel that I'm just wondering, how other people would feel about it. Some people are gonna say that that fight should have had stopped. It would have been anybody else. Blah 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 blah.
And they'd
Like,
have a valid point. I mean, it's going to give the haters ammunition to
it
go
gives
off
them
something, but
ammunition. Yeah.
it's
It
in
gives
the
them
uh,
ammunition, but
it's
there
in
is
the
valid.
it's up to the judge or it's up to the referee to make that call, and he didn't make that call. So it is what it is. Wilder won. So I mean, I don't pay
I
too
mean,
much credence for that.
you don't have Ortiz or his team, complaining about it. So fuck it. It is what it
Exactly.
is.
Exactly.
But I'm just curious. I mean, if it would have been some other referee, would he, with Wilder right now,
I think yeah, I think there's a good chance if it was. I think you made a good analogy. If it was Kenny Bayless, yeah, I
oh no,
do.
no,
I think
Kenny
it
Bayless would have
would get
stopped that
stopped.
fight. I think probably the minute that Ortiz hit him with two punches. Like, that dude is just ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah.
you know, I know Tony Weeks would have got criticized because he was they murdered him over the freaking ward stoppage, talking about it was too soon and low blows and all type of dumb shit.
Well, when it comes to a referee, we got to put ourselves in a referee's position. Their main objective is the safety of a fighter. So just like it's kind of like we have set rules for four criteria for scoring rounds, they have set rules too. But at the end of the day, it's going to be up to the judges' uh,
I,
conscious decisions, right? So every ref's going to fucking vary. Like some's going to stop them early, and some's not, right? Because that's their main objective is to keep that fighter safe, right?
I thought that Wilder did a good job. If he was really hurt, like he looked to us. I mean, he was doing a good job masking it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He wasn't
Player
behaving
part
like a
two.
guy, falling all over the place. He grabbed Ortiz. He did the right thing. He bought himself some time.
He never
You know,
went down.
he never went down. I mean, well, if he would have gone down, we would it would have been obvious. But I think he just behaved correctly, during a critical, crucial time in the fight. Where where everything was on the line for him. He did what he did the correct thing, bought himself some time. And that is the difference between him and Ortiz being hurt. Ortiz didn't do that. Ortiz, like I was telling Ty, when Ortiz got hurt, and then whatever he got up and the referee fight go on. And as soon as Wilder's coming, Ortiz is just sitting there waiting for one shot to it was Thermopylae or some shit, the last stand, his last fucking Spartan stand.
Yeah.
And if you're hurt, man, do something. Use movement. Make the guy, what I'm saying, follow you around while you recover. Take a knee, grab him. You know.
See, but this
Yeah.
another thing. This another thing. Like you can have your poker face on. You know what I'm saying? And you can mask how you feeling, but there's some things that you can't mask, like having glassy eyes and stuff. And if you're a referee, you can see that. So I
Yeah.
feel like Wilder's eyes and stuff must have been pretty clear for him to keep the fight going because it kind of reminded me of another fight I just saw some highlights of. I can't remember who it was, but the guy had took a beating off in the fight. You know what I'm saying? He was getting his ass whooped, but every time he get knocked down, he would get up and the ref would let the fight continue. But then the ref finally he stopped the fight and he gave it to the other guy by knockout. You know what I'm saying? I think the other guy might have fouled him or something, so people was thinking he was gonna get disqualified, but the ref actually ended up stopping the fight for a knockout. And they
That
asked him
was
why, and he
recently.
said, "Huh?
That was recently.
Yeah, I think it was because and the referee was like, well, his eyes was glassy and stuff. He wasn't looking right, so he was kind of out on his feet, even though he was still fighting. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of remind me of that a little bit.
Was it the Benavidez fight with versus what's his name?
Gabriel,
Yeah,
it might have been. It might have been.
because he was taking a shitload of punches and shit, and the referee kept letting it go.
Yeah, my memory ain't just the greatest. I can't even lie to you, but it might have been it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I thought, like I was telling Ty again, with Ortiz, in my opinion, without a doubt, he has the greater boxing IQ, but I think Wilder's critical IQ, I think saved the day for him.
And the X factor, it's the X factor. George
Yeah,
Foreman never always had the best fundamentals. He didn't implement the best fundamental skills all the time either, but he was successful. I mean, I was telling people like I don't get the pom poms out for anybody, but there's a difference between accumulative power and there's a difference between one punch power. And Wilder does has that one punch power, and he's even up a little bit of a level from that. So I mean, that's just basically what happened. I don't even find Ortiz fought a bad fight. It was actually Ortiz that showed the most from a technical point of view, the most technical skills. You know what I
he's
mean?
supposed to though.
Countering.
Let me ask you
What's
something.
that?
Let me ask you guys something.
Yep.
If you were in Ortiz's corner, you already after the seventh round, you heard him. The eighth and the ninth round, Ortiz clearly won those two rounds. Would you have sent Ortiz out there, looking for the KO? Because that's what he did. He went out there looking for a KO and he got stopped. Or you would
I
have
would
had
have,
him.
but I would have sent him to the body because he was having some successful body work. He was feinting and going to the body and stuff like that, and doing a variation of punches to get to the body. And I thought he should have stuck to that because that's what I was telling you guys yesterday. If he starts getting to that body early, it's the same rule that applies to Wilder that you'll well get that hit if you put that basement work in first. And I find he kind of got away with from that because Wilder started getting away from the body shots, like almost like I said, he didn't maybe do it the most fundamentally sound the way he should have, but is the idea to get the fuck away from them. And I found
How'd
when
you
Wilder
score?
started getting away from the body shots,
How did,
Ortiz stopped going down there. Yeah, Ortiz should have
how did
stayed there.
how did you score the seventh round? You gave Ortiz a 10-8, or you scored a 10?
No, I'm black and white when it comes to that. I don't give 10-8 unless the motherfucker goes down. That's
Um,
just me. That's just my, I don't know how Trey does. I'll give Trey a chance to speak here.
I gave the motherfucker the 10-8 round, man. I'm not gonna even lie. Like
Yeah,
I
me
understand
too.
what you
Me too.
saying with your scoring and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a person that give 10 rounds a lot, you know what I'm saying? Like I score a little bit different than a lot of people. So I give
Yeah.
him the 10, I gave him the 10-8 round. I felt like he deserved it. I
Okay, that's
feel,
fair.
Okay.
and it was a couple of times I felt like if the ropes wasn't there, Wilder might have went down. So, I went on and gave him the 10-8 round. I felt like he deserved it.
That's
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
that's fair.
if you're gonna have that option in the rule, that definitely is a reason to use it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, it reminds me of when Ruslan had Tim Bradley, going from pillar to post all
Yeah.
over the ring, and the referees didn't give him a 10-8 round. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got
But
no argument with that because that's where the subjectiveness comes into play, right? That's where
right,
I can't really say Trey's wrong and Trey can't say that I'm wrong, right?
Nah, it's just the way I score. Cause me personally, I could see a dude whooping another dude ass, and then all of a sudden he get knocked down. So now I got to give him 8 points and give the other dude 10. I can't stand that shit. I be wanting to give him 9-9. Cause you was you was whooping his ass, and then the dude catch you with a lucky punch, and now all of a sudden he done won the round.
yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
he was getting his ass whooped, and he got his point back to me.
But I would
You know
score
what
that
I'm
at
saying?
9. I would score that at 9-9 round.
That's what I say.
Yeah.
That's why I like to score that 9-9. But for the most part, the judge is gonna do 10-8 the
Yeah.
other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're dominating two minutes and 55 seconds of the round, and the guy just clips you, and he gives you a flash knockdown. You know,
That,
you
hey,
lost
that's
that.
a 10-8 round to these
Yeah,
judges.
that's
But
the
the
thing,
guys
man.
like me and you, we like 9-9.
See, half the reason
Yeah,
why I don't do it is to save from disparity because especially if I'm watching on TV, like I can think that a guy's whooping a guy's ass and then go back and watch the fight with the sound off, which is I usually do. And then certain punches might have been partial, certain punches should have been might not have landed or whatever. So I kind of I do it because that's just the type of dude that I am. I'm just black and white straight with the rules, but I kind of do it for my own benefit too. So there's no disparity. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah,
not changing my scorecards around and stuff because
yeah.
there's been too many fights like that. I consider myself, I know I'm pretty educated on how rounds are scored. I know they're subjective, but I do know the full criteria. And there's been many of fights where I might have had the scorecards and the winner the same, but the guy didn't win the round quite as convincingly as I thought he did when I seen it the next day. So it just takes the
Yeah.
disparity out of it for me.
Yeah,
That's just me personally.
I'm gonna admit I'm not a good judge, man. If I watch the fight the first time, it is not gonna be judged accurately. I got to go back and watch it 2 or 3 times to really judge the fight right. You know, the judges have a hard job, man. I got to give them their props on that because it's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
well, it's not really a hard job, but you know, they're just not consistent. But the job itself is not really hard. You're not
Well,
getting punched, you know.
for me, it's hard because like when I watched Ward and Kovalev first fight, I thought Kovalev won the first fight. Then when I went back and watched it again, I felt like Ward won. When I watched Golovkin and
I
Canelo,
never thought Kovalev won that first fight.
yeah, I can't speak for nobody else. No, I'm just speaking for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, just
I
me.
thought it was a fight that could go either way for sure if you apply the four criteria. And I'm objective. Like I don't try to look for reasons to score for a certain guy I'm rooting for. I'm fine with Ward getting it, but I would have been fine if Kovalev got it too. So that's how I looked at that. But a lot of people that looked at that fight, they didn't go by the criteria.
I thought from the fifth round on, I mean, I think it was all Andre Ward, man. Kovalev had no answer for it. He was giving up, you know, ring generalship. He wasn't the bully. He was getting pushed backwards, and
Kovalev landed three. Kovalev landed three fucking right hands from like round four on. So there's like how somebody going to really and did virtually no body work for 12 rounds.
nobody work. I mean, and
Yeah. So
I
where's
think
the
Kovalev would have looked at a lot better. I mean, I know how HBO is gonna. I mean, this what's his name? Howard
Man,
Letterman. That guy was all over the fucking place on that. He was strictly Kovalev. No matter what Andre Ward would have done, he wasn't gonna score that fight for Andre Ward whatsoever.
He's the
He
only
was
judge that can actually explain why he gave a round, and when he explained why he was giving rounds, it didn't fall under the criteria. So I don't
didn't
even
fall
fucking pay no
under the
attention to
criteria
him.
that even he says.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then the biggest the biggest misconception is and to me the utter bullshit is how these guys they come on and they try to educate the public, you know, by using that. Oh, I mean, it depends what the judge wants. Man, that is the biggest crock of shit when it comes to scoring a fight that you'll ever hear. It's not
yeah,
it's not what the judge wants. He has to go exactly by the, you know what I'm saying, by the guidelines of scoring. You know, he
yep,
can't have personal preference whatsoever. That's why they call you a judge. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
You know, you have to be completely impartial, and it has to, you know, you have to be impartial of the boxer style because boxers have different styles. If they're allowed to have different styles, you cannot favor one style over the other.
yeah,
but that's the idealistic thing. But you know, it's just like fans. Some fans like to, you know, they got their certain preferences. You know what I'm saying? What you saying is ideally, but in the real world, everybody gonna kind of lean towards one style
Well,
or another.
it's
You
yeah.
know,
It's human nature. It's human
by
nature.
the rule, by the rules of scoring in boxing, that's exactly how it has to be. It's
I
not
Yeah,
ideal.
understand, bro.
It's
yeah.
I'm just saying there's human nature, like Ty said.
I
well,
think, and it is human nature to an extent, but don't get me wrong. I'm not by no means using it as an excuse. I mean, it's still their job. So I think the best way to look at it would be you can have you can have a bias towards a certain style because I mean you're human, like you're not going to be able to stop that, but you should know each style. A judge should be educated enough in each style to know when one particular style is effective. That
Yeah,
way, it takes away from that human nature to say, because if they like an aggressive fighter, and that's what they like, and that's fine, and you got a guy on the back foot and he's boxing and trying to draw him in and set traps, that's fine. But if you don't understand the style of being a boxer puncher and you don't quite understand that, then that might play in your mind to give to the guy coming forward, because that's not all that effective because you're not understanding, you're not educated enough is a judge on that level to see how effective he is. And I think that they should have to I think they should have to fucking clean that up a little bit.
See,
yeah,
but it's this is where well, my understanding of it is you have the rules that are already set. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These
So
are rules
that
already established by the governing bodies, by the commissions.
yeah.
So if the rules of scoring and the criteria of scoring is there, it eliminates the personal perspective of the
Yeah.
judges. They have to stick by that guideline and score a fight according to those guidelines. Now, when
Yeah.
you say that
But I
a judge has personal preference, then there's no need for the guidelines. Then
Yeah,
with
and a
those,
why?
judge got to be educated. It's like Harold Letterman when he was going on the Ward Kovalev first one. He's the only judge in the
Yeah,
world that gets to explain. I think they all should have to fucking explain it, but he's the only judge in the world that gets to explain why he scored a round. And then I'm watching him say things like, "Well, Ward was stepping back, but I know he's stepping back, Letterman, but he's stepping back to control range and distance, and he's stepping back to draw Kovalev in and to keep him offset. So you shouldn't be scoring that against Ward because that is part. He's trying to implement a certain style, and that's what I'm saying. Where they gotta
hey,
kind of be educated in it.
did you guys peep the new HBO freaking pressure meter, whatever the hell they got now?
No, but I got a feeling I'm not gonna fucking
I,
pay no mind to it.
I didn't even watch the HBO card, man. I
Hey,
missed it.
they have Jim Blambly in the last couple of fights. They have on a like the pressure, the guy that's putting the pressure meter, he's winning the fight because of the pressure. They have
Oh
some
my
corny
fuck.
shit on now that they're always bringing up. I forgot
Yeah.
how he was saying it, but they have like now like a criteria of pressure.
Well, so they get
Like,
to just change the rules. It's supposed to be
yeah, these
effective
guys are
pressure.
fucking ridiculous. They just
Effective.
came up with that shit recently, man. I forgot which fight it was on. I think it was the Lucas Matisse fight where they were bringing it up,
I think what
and
they're saying has a little bit of credence, but not as much as what they're saying, because I do feel like if the guy is making the fight, he should get some type of credit for it, but it shouldn't be the lone criteria like the way they do it. They make it seem like if you just coming forward, you automatically win. And like
Yeah.
Ty
right.
said, it has to be effective, you know what I'm saying? But I do feel like a guy should get like 5% credit for making the fight. You know what
Because
I'm
it could
saying?
fall under ring generalship. That can fall under ring. If a guy's coming forward and not doing like he's only touching a little bit, touching you here and there, and you're going and you're like fighting on the back foot or whatever, and you're not doing anything, then yeah, he's going to get it because even if somebody wants to use the argument, well, his aggression wasn't that effective. Yes, but because the other guy wasn't effective for really letting anything off on the back foot, you can easily give it to the aggressor for ring generalship. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. All right, that's a better way of putting what I was just trying to say. Yeah.
What do you think, Sanctus?
Well, I agree. I mean, if you're gonna box, you have to at least and you want ring generalship, you have to at least hit the guy with a jab or consistent jab. And
No.
if your opponent is not he's coming forward, he's not hitting nothing, he's not cutting you off. I don't care if nobody hits each other. I think you got to give it to the guy who uses the entire ring and knows how to move. You
Yep.
know, because with footwork, you have to give him the element of defense because footwork is the principle of defense.
Yeah, it's in the criteria.
So you have to give those two elements to the guy who's actually knowing how to use the ring.
So let me
Yeah.
ask you this question. So if you got two fighters in the ring, you got one guy that's on the back foot, but he hasn't landed a punch, and you have another guy that's on the front foot, making the fight, and he isn't landing a punch. You automatically give it to the guy on the back foot because he utilizing the ring and showing good defense.
You go ahead,
To me,
Sanctus. I'm gonna let you go first.
yeah, that's what I actually was saying before. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
coming
with her.
forward and not landing to me, it amounts to absolutely nothing. Now, throwing to be able to maneuver yourself away from your opponent when he's becoming aggressive, it shows skill. It doesn't take skill to move forward.
Yeah.
I
When
understand,
I
but at the
I'm
same time,
I'm with Sanctus. Like that's how I'm firm on that shit too because defense gets overlooked a lot. In my opinion is the criteria. Like to me, if you have close rounds, you edge it to the guy with the defense, and that's half the reason why I did that with Ward and Kovalev. That I might have gave Ward some rounds that people didn't because Ward Kovalev swung more and he showed the defense. But I get the premises of what you're saying. You're kind of saying like if they're both one's going backwards and one's coming forward and they're both ineffective, then to me, and this is when the subjective comes into play, I would kind of look at which one's implementing the style most effectively. If the guy coming forward is cutting the ring off properly, not following them around, and he's doing what you're supposed to do as an aggressor, I'm going to look
Exactly.
at that just like I'm going to look at the defense when
Exactly.
okay, is he utilizing the ring properly? Then I would say I have a right as a judge to use my subjectivity. That way.
Same
Right. I'm not
like
scoring for an aggressor that's not fucking utilizing the ring like he's supposed to properly. If that
for
makes any
me.
sense what I'm saying.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, for me to give the aggressive fighter, the round and score in his favor, you have to at least put the guy who's moving away from you on the ropes, put him in a corner, cut him off the ring, make him look, jumpy, But if he's
Yeah.
just moving around, using the entire, but that's what he's expected to do. If you're the pressure fighter, you have to show pressure fighter type of skills.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get credit for that, because I already
Yeah.
know what the slick boxer is gonna do. He's gonna use the entire ring. Everybody and their mama knows exactly what he plans on doing. If
well,
you're
for
the
Yeah.
pressure fighter and you don't do any of that to prevent him from doing his job, then you didn't do your job. So I
So
can't
which
give you credit for a job that you were expected to do, but you didn't do.
I
all
think
right,
the example Trey gave us is almost like just to not keep going on about it. I definitely got what he was saying. To me, Trey, what you gave me would be the deciding factor would be they're both trying to battle for position. They're just both doing it in two different ways. So me personally, I'm going to judge on the guy that's doing the best at battle in the position, which goes what Sanctus says. If you're pushing a guy back and you're putting him against the ropes, which is not part of his game plan or should be, or you're kind of getting him jumpy at a position, then I'd give it to the aggressor. And if the guy that's fighting on the back foot using that style, he's putting the fucking aggressor out of position, making him missing shit, then I would go with the guy that's fighting on the back foot. To me, that would be a situation where the objective is they're both trying to gain position on each other. Whoever gains the best position
I'm
wins.
I'm gonna give you guys an example of what I'm talking about, and this is basically what set the precedence for what we're talking about right now. And you go back, one of the most mythical accolades given to a boxer was Willie Pep supposedly winning a round without throwing a punch.
yeah, I knew you were gonna say that, but I heard that was a myth.
Okay, myth, but a lot of people wrote. Some people wrote that it actually happened. We weren't there, and the sources were all dead. But let's just go off of that because it's brought up so many times in boxing, and he's a myth, but he's given credit for it. And in which to me, there's some bias to that because we know certain other fighters when if they would have done something similar, true myth or not myth, they would never have been given that credit. But that's a different story that we always try to avoid.
I,
But
I respect I respect you what you guys are saying, and I definitely get what you're saying. But for me, like I look at the total picture, and I do feel like boxing is entertainment also. So I give the guy a little credit for making the fight. Like if both guys are being ineffective with their styles, I give the aggressor like a 48-52 advantage. Just a small little squeak by advantage because he making the fight. You know what I'm saying?
but I mean, what really makes a fight? Just moving forward.
I mean, if you got two guys and they moving away from each other, they ain't gonna never fight.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say circle or you box. That circling your opponent is a skill. It's a fundamental skill to circle your opponent. So let's just say the guy is not just he's not just moving back, but he's just circling, sidestepping, but he's not staying far from range. I mean, far from the action from the opponent. Just taking subtle steps sideways, backwards, and circling. Neither guys are hitting each other, but there's one guy actually using boxing skill.
Would fall under ring generalship, I would say.
Exactly. I mean, so
But I'm not saying
and
Trey's wrong either, because to me, that's when the subjectiveness comes into it.
the subjectiveness should be eliminated with the criteria. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, 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 okay.
Because you can't
Yeah.
give both fighters ring generalship. And how can you give ring generalship to a guy who's not doing what his brand of fighting is, which is put pressure and put on effective pressure? If that's his brand, cool. If he actually does it, then give him credit for it. But if he doesn't, you got to give that type of you got to give the type of work to the guy who's expected to use the entire ring and use movement, use lateral movement because he's doing what everybody in the world expects him to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
you can't give credit for great um ring generalship because if it was like that, Ali would have never won a round that he didn't knock out his opponent in his prime.
Well, Ali was moving and hitting those, so that
He
really
would
kind
hit
of
and
Yeah.
move, but he would sometimes get hit too. You know,
See, yeah. See, to
so
me,
maybe
I hear you saying this because I would like under the same, and I'm still under the same thought process. But to me, if a fight was going like that, sort of,
perhaps Ali wasn't the best example because Ali did put hands on
yeah.
motherfuckers.
If the aggressor starts landing some big blows,
But you know what I mean?
I
Okay, the
might
more
give it to I might give it to the guy that's landing the big blows. That's considering that the defender is passive in his aggression and in throwing punches because the number one criteria look for is land of punches. So yeah, to get to try to clarify what I'm saying is that if you're defensive but you're not getting much punches off, but you get clocked a couple good times, then I'm going to give it to the aggressor because he got that main criteria, right? So it's a happy medium when you're defensive, right?
okay, so we could look at that at this way, all right? Initially, it could be a criteria that the aggressor fighter might have, but if he fails to do, I mean,
Oh
let's
yeah,
but if he fails to do any type of effective aggression, he should lose.
yeah, exactly. If you're ineffective, I don't care how tough you look like to a bunch of fuckers not watching boxing or in the 30th row thinking punches are landing. If you are
Because
not effective in boxing, you get no clout with me.
All right, from the
because
outside looking in, when I'm listening to what y'all saying, it sounds like if you're a boxer and you fight on your back foot, you automatically have an advantage because you start out using ring generalship off the top. And that's just what it sounds like to me.
no, because ring generalship could actually you could lose ring generalship from the beginning of the fight, but if your opponent is actually putting you on the ropes, if he sticks you in a corner, and you just he might not hit, he might not connect nothing, but you wiggle yourself out of it, you pivot around them, and you escape. You know what
All
I'm
right, but
saying?
peep this, but peep, listen. Let's say you
But you
got two
already lost
fighters.
the ring generalship by allowing yourself to be put on the
All right,
ropes.
this is what I'm hearing. If let's say you got two fighters in the ring and neither one of them even throws a punch, and you
Hmm.
got one guy coming forward and you got the other guy moving around on the back foot, using his footwork, that guy with the footwork is automatically gonna be winning because he's using ring generalship, even though ain't now one of them threw a punch.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would give
I'm.
it to him
You know
because
what? Go ahead,
okay, go
Sanctum.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, I would give it. I understand what you're saying because this is like a yeah. This is
He's
like
going because he's
none
going.
of them are landing. None of them are landing punches. So if I really had to do it, I probably would get it to the guy in the back foot. But my reasoning would be is because
The fans won't
if
like
he's
it.
on the what?
The
If
the
he's on the
fans,
back foot
yeah,
and he's doing what he
the
needs to
fans
do,
won't like it. You'll get boos from the crowd, blah blah blah. But
yeah.
who's
If the
who's
guy's on the back foot, if he's doing it right, then that means he's also displaying defense because it's defense with your feet too. So if he's fighting on the back foot right and neither
two
one of
versus
them are
one?
landing a punch, he got to be doing something right not to get hit. So he,
Hold
he,
on,
he might get that
but
defense.
at the same time, just because you coming forward, that don't mean you're not using defense. Because you got plenty of fighters that can come forward and move their head and stuff. Like
Well
even
played.
look at
Well
look at
played.
Okay,
look at
yeah,
Uzkadi.
Well
it's well
played.
played, but see, they're moving their head, but like you said, there's no punch being thrown. So
Yeah.
With me personally, just me. I don't necessarily try to make people think like me, but like
no, 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 yeah,
if I see two fighters and ain't now punch being thrown, and I see one guy moving backwards and I see the other guy moving forward, I'm gonna be inclined to give it to the guy that's moving forward. That's just me.
Yeah.
no, I can
Yep.
understand it. I can understand it. I mean, the what's important is that it's the different perspective uh, of opinion, different opinions. I mean that's what makes boxing conversation. You know what I'm saying? In
Oh
my
yeah, we
opinion.
ain't all agree on everything. I mean, because at the same time, like the edge that I would give them is like very small, so it doesn't really make a huge difference. Like I said, I would give them like a 52-48 advantage. That's pretty
And you
Now
much
have
it.
that right, Trey. You have
I
that
think
right because the four criteria can't. It is set in stone. Sanctus is right. That is the fucking rules. You got to stay within the guidelines, but it ain't the holy grail where you can't have any subjectivity or it can't be moved. So even though like I might do it different than you, I wouldn't say that you're wrong because there is room for subjectivity. So I get what you're saying. But we're talking
yeah,
about motherfuckers not landing a punch too, so it makes it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean it's just interesting conversation, but
It
to
is.
have different of opinions and different points of view. I mean, that's what I like. Talking about
And
boxing.
let me clarify this, because to be honest with you, I would actually be more inclined to score a 10-10 round in that circumstance. Most people don't use the 10-10 that much, you know what I'm saying? But
Yep.
if I had to lean to one and I couldn't use my 10-10, I would lean towards the aggressor. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Well, I
I
mean,
would.
I guess you know, I think it shows more skill to avoid, you know, confrontation than to create confrontation. But
Yep.
it's difference of opinion. I mean, there's no right and no wrong. I mean, right now,
We already
and
know we ain't casuals because we're
we
talking to
understand
different.
that boxing is an entertainment. People will go out there, pay tickets to see. So I could see where the fans are gonna boo if the guy, who in my opinion is showing the more skill, you know, where they're not gonna like, where he's going.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. See, yeah, and
you know,
to me, the fans don't mean shit because to me, know what I tell the fans? Go watch a different fighter and go understand what style you
oh
want
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
that's
yeah,
like me
yeah,
going
yeah.
Tim Duncan wasn't the most flashiest basketball player, but he was very fundamental. So you're not going to get the 360 dunks and the fucking jumping from the fucking foul line and all that shit. So to me, it would make no sense to go to a Tim Duncan fight or a Tim Duncan basketball game and then fucking boo. Like if you knew what the fucking sport consists of, then that's your right to like what you like, but don't go boo because you're not educated on how the fucking player plays. Like he's playing basketball and he's doing it fundamentally sound. If you want to go watch dunk, go watch Vince Carter. That's the beef that I have with the fans. Like don't go to a fucking Rigondeaux fight and fucking boo when you know the motherfucker is defensive and looks and tries to place his shots and shit. To me, that's just being that's your own fault for buying a ticket and not being educated. But that's just me directing it towards the people that boo. I did pretty good tonight, boys. That was the first rant. I did pretty good.
The thing is that the thing is that they boo the defensive fighter, but then they make excuses when the pressure fighter doesn't want to fight the defensive fighter.
Yeah. I hate that when they say, oh, well, he's moving around the ring. Cut the fucking ring off. There's a fundamental. It's like any other sport. Cut the ring off. I don't go to a basketball game and then when motherfuckers are getting rebounds, get pissed off because the team I'm watching and rooting for didn't get rebounds. Know what I'm going to say? My team should have boxed out. They should have used the fundamental to box out for rebounds. They didn't implement it or they couldn't. It is what it is. Don't be getting all on a fucking boxer and complaining to me that a dude was smart by not getting hit. It's up to your fighter to cut the fucking ring off.
Okay, and when you say that, it brings up a good point because I can't say that I would be on the aggressive side if he just following this guy around. He's not cutting the ring off and shit because that do go against ring generalship. But if you got the guy going backwards on the back foot and you got the other guy and he cutting the ring off and stuff like that, he is showing.
Oh yeah, no, he automatically when you're the aggressor and you cut off a guy, you cut the ring off on him, and you minimize the size of the ring on him. That's ring generalship, in my opinion, and that definitely goes to the aggressor.
Yeah, it's a battle of position. Who's gaining better position in a scenario like Trey said? To me, that's what it is. It's who's gaining the best position. Who's putting one out of position more than the other? If we do the scenario that Trey did, because that's, if I'm not mistaken, Trey, that's a scenario you're given. Like if two people are implementing two styles, but there's not really a lot of hitting going on, then it's the one that puts the other guy unfundamentally out of position. That's how I would do that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I respect that for sure.
Okay, let's move on to something else because that shit right there took damn near away. I'm about to fall asleep on that shit, but. No, that was good talk, because it's something that's rarely spoken of, in the
and it's good because we kind of get a sense how each one thinks, so then you can kind of know why I might differ from a scorer than Trey. Like it's always good in a way. It's definitely a good sign that we weren't sitting here saying the aggressor gets the fucking round when he's not landing, because then we shouldn't even be on the internet if we're doing that. So.
Well, you know that Trey been sparring a lot of Mexicans. That's why he thinks the way he thinks.
I'm in Texas, man. So yeah, I've been in there with mostly Mexicans, to be honest with you.
The Mexicans, they got them thinking about the aggression.
Yeah.
But no, that was in my opinion, that was pretty good talk right there.
That was the Mexicans' answer for everything. Put pressure. I used to hear that shit all the fucking time. It didn't matter what was going on in the ring. Put pressure, and that's gonna solve
the Mexicans that actually know. I mean, there's a lot of them. But the ones that are real good at throwing them body shots, man. Those guys are dangerous. I sparred a Mexican before, and motherfucker will hit him with body shots like it's.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't a big puncher. But he was accurate with those shots, and they were bothering. So.
Yeah. Let me clear it up, man, because I got love for the Mexican people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up in the spot in my town where they call Little Mexico. And I grew up with like we was the only black family in the whole neighborhood. So I got love for the Mexican people. That's why I got their flag in the background on my picture and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
That's why I
sir.
didn't fight. So I don't want nobody coming on here listening to me thinking that I'm, racist or something. Cause I got love for the
No,
Mexican people.
well, my favorite boxers, I think three of my top favorite boxers of all time are Mexicans, and
Yeah,
my favorite Mexican fighter is Salvador Sanchez, and after him is Johnny Tapia.
yeah,
But
Yep.
he was Mexican. He was Mexican American, but he's still Mexican.
yeah.
And you got to give it up to the ones that did it, at a elite level. You know,
Yeah.
and the ones that did it at the elite level were extremely skilled fighters, and not
You
given
got
the
to be.
credit,
Yeah.
not given
You
the
got to be
credit
if
that
you're
they
gonna fight
did.
like that.
Because how many people remember Ricardo Lopez? Bro, that guy was fucking a beast. A beast. That he would have fucked Chocolatigo and Ruben Sayo. He would have banged them all the motherfuckers up. My opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's how good that guy was.
Who guys?
Technical. It was like a Marquez, but just just effortlessly. Because Marquez is kind of tight with his stand. He got like stiff legs and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get on my boy
And
too much now. That's my boy Marquez.
Marquez, yeah, I mean, after he murdered fucking Pacquiao, he became everybody's boy.
But he wasn't the greatest athlete, 'cause that's why Timothy Bradley got the W on him. So yeah, I feel where you're coming from though.
Marquez fights a little bit stiff legged, you know what I mean? But it's his upper body that's loose as fuck. That's what's gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Don't worry about how he move with his legs, but he can be a little bit stiff.
That
What do you
Salvador
Or
guys think
was
about? What do you guys think about Broner and Omar not happening? I just seen that today.
I'm glad. Both them bums should fucking be fucking. They should be suspended, man. Be honest.
I think it was
Nobody got
almost a blessing in disguise for Broner because
nobody got time
stylistically,
for
I
that.
thought it was a bad matchup, but also, and not just because stylistically it's a bad matchup, but I already expressed to you guys that I think that Broner kind of doesn't get the get back fights. Like he doesn't say, okay, I got to take a softer touch, got to rebuild, I got to fix
yeah.
this, so let me pick it with this opponent. But one guy supposedly, allegedly, got busted drinking and driving, and then we seen fucking Broner out there acting like he got mental problems. So I had a fucking prediction of how I thought the fight was going to go down, and I don't even have one now because we don't know we don't know if we would have got the best of both fighters because one get caught drinking, you don't know how much he's drinking, and then one's acting like he fucking needs mental health. So you don't know which one of the two would have showed up. You don't know if the Broner would have showed up or the
But
Omar,
the
because I would have gave it to Omar, but I don't know what Omar's gonna. I don't know what Omar was gonna show up.
Yeah.
Omar would have been drunk as fuck at the
So
night.
is the fight off or is it just postponed?
Nah,
No,
he,
it's
he
off.
pulled out of the fight. He pulled out of the fight.
He got a
Figueroa.
shoulder injury. Omar got a shoulder injury.
That would make him pull out and not just postpone it though. That
Yeah.
sounds weird to me.
I'm waiting for some news to transpire, but that's the news today. He pulled out with the shoulder injury. I never seen no postponement date or anything. I just seen pulled out. Usually pulled out means the fight's
First of
not
all,
happening.
man,
But that's
you
weird to me.
know, I like fighters who are very professional about the business, man, and I don't think those guys are being given the credit for maintaining a boxing state of mind, year round and taking
Yeah.
boxing as a career. And I'm tired of all these goofballs doing whatever the fuck they doing, and then getting big fights. You know what I'm saying? Getting title fights. Nah, fuck all that.
I
You,
feel where you coming from, but I was looking forward to the fight. I did.
yeah, don't get me wrong. But damn, if these guys aren't respecting they're not respecting
Sport.
the fans by doing what, man, then why the fuck should we even care?
Yeah, that's true.
As much as we stick up for these guys, whether we like them or not, because we're objective,
How many
then
guys on the fight?
at least come to the fight on par. Come the best you is possible.
Yeah, I respect that.
I mean, first of all, Omar, man, it's not even a issue of so much about boxing, but actually life. You know, you driving drunk, man, you can fuck around, wreck out, kill an entire family of people coming from church, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or kill himself, you know, kill his kids in the accident. Sometimes when you fucking drive drunk and, you know, you crash, it ain't you who dies,
yeah,
you
It
know?
changed it changed my perspective of how to break down the fight because when I assess a fight, keep in mind I assess a fight under the assumption that these guys are fucking training the way they're supposed to be trained and they're
yeah,
like I'm just going based off that. So I can be wrong because I'm not in the camps or whatever. So when I see indications like that, that's his business. But it kind of tells me, well, I don't know if he's doing the training proper, how he's supposed to, or where his mental state is on both their parts. So right there, that changes my whole perspective and how I assess the fight because I
yeah,
assess the fight based on the assumption that these guys are doing what they're supposed to do, preparing for a world level
Exactly.
significant
And not
fight for
only
the
that,
vote.
man, you know, in
yeah,
boxing, we all, you know, there's a lot of gamblers, you know, people put money, you know, of course, it's their own peril, it's on them, you know, but you understand that this is a business where people bet on you, you know, and it's
Yep.
big money for Vegas, you know, because Vegas shells out a lot of the money for the fighters, you know, expecting, you know, big bets, you know, in the casino.
Yep.
So
yeah,
that is part of boxing, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And when you're doing, you know, corny ass shit, you know, that just ruins every aspect of boxing, not only competitiveness, business wise. Come on, man. So what is your worth as a fighter, bro? You know, your word ain't shit. You go, yo, I'm training harder than everybody than I ever did in my life. Then you get locked up, drinking and driving. I'm doing this because it's the biggest fight of my life. You go fuck around and get some sexual harassment, some shit. Come on, man. People got, you know, we trying to get the best fights possible, and even when there's a good fight between two guys, you know, who are popular, something comes up.
yeah,
It comes
Come
down to
on.
me that if you show me indications that you're not doing the things necessary to be prepared to use your skill set to the fullest, if you're showing me indications, I can't give you the benefit of the doubt to break it down a fight of your skill set because you're showing me that that may be compromised. I could be wrong. I don't live with the dudes, but when it comes to breaking down fights, all that stuff to me comes into play. I can't give you the benefit of the doubt that your skill set's going to be up to par if you're giving me the indications that you might be doing things that are not. That's how I work.
Not only
yeah,
that, boxing, you know, it's something it transcends, you know, culturally, racially, and all type of aspects. You know, a lot of people have emotional investments in these fighters. A lot of them have a national pride type of thing. So when you know, you're not doing the best you can 100%, you know, to not only fight for, you know, for yourself and for your family, but you know, for the people that support you, you know, because the paychecks come, man, from the people that supporting you, man. They don't come from anything else. So what are you telling them people that, you know, oh, I'm not professional enough to take this shit serious? Then get the fuck out the sport, bro. Go drink and shit at a bar with your homeboys. Go
yeah,
fuck into a strip club and shit. Do that shit all day. Get the fuck out of boxing. Stop wasting time.
yeah. I
Let
feel
other
like
fighters
they
get
let
some
us
fame.
down. Yeah, they let the fans down, man. Because I really was looking forward to that shit.
And don't get me wrong. I thought Omar was gonna put a fucking major league ass whooping on Broner.
I thought it was gonna be a little bit better stylistic matchup for Broner. Besides the volume, I know Figueroa throw a lot of punches, but I don't see him as being a technician. I felt like he was gonna be there to be hit. So I thought that, Broner had a little chance.
Yeah, I think Omar has a little better chin than AB. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, that play a part too for sure.
you know, but yeah, you know, like I always say, but if you're going into a fight because you have a better chin and shit, that's not a good way to approach a fight.
Yeah, you don't want to test. You don't want a contest to see who got the best chin.
Oh, definitely not. Just ask Brandon Reels.
Yeah,
Shit, that motherfucker was looking at the sky like what?
and I feel
But
bad for Rio. I feel bad for Rios because he always gave the fans what they wanted to see, and they talk shit about him all day long in the comment section.
What
Yeah.
he did, a lot of what Rio's got, it's something him and his crew established. So when shit don't go wrong, all that shit you talking, it's gonna come back.
Rio's been throwing that lazy jab his whole career, and he paid for it that night. That was a result of the lazy jab with Danny Garcia. I'm referring to. That's how Garcia got him.
Yeah.
I thought it was a lazy jab that he brought back down low.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a double negative. You threw it all lazy as fuck, and then you brought it over there by your motherfucking nipple.
I didn't feel like he
So
should have been with Danny Garcia in the first place. Like, what the fuck wasn't that like a title eliminator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
it
even
wasn't.
understand it, but I don't
How
understand
is
how all that shit works.
how does Brandon Rios get it, man? I'm telling you, some of these title fights are such fucking ridiculous setups, man, and that and they go unchallenged. I hate these fucking media people that be like, "Oh, Mariaga and Lomachenko." Doesn't occur to none of these motherfuckers to ask fucking Bob Arum, "Hey, hold up, Bob," or the WBO head of the WBO. How the hell is Mariaga fucking getting a title shot when he just lost his last fight and he got dropped in the 11th or
They
12th
do what they
round?
want.
Per bad.
They do what
How
they
does
want.
he got
You
it?
wanna
He
know
got
how you wanna know how they do what they want?
Mariota fought for two fucking world titles back to back. It's
Yeah.
off for long.
You wanna know
Yeah.
how they do what they want? Because think about it like this. Sean Porter
What's
fought
okay?
Keith Thurman, right?
Yeah.
And usually if you have a competitive matchup, which it is, that warrants a rematch. But they told Porter to go have an eliminator instead of just a rematch. That's fine. So then they took Garcia, who was another guy that Thurman beat, coming up, so he's coming off a loss. They made Sean Porter do twice the work what most people got to do to get a rematch. Even more work by doing an eliminator, what some people get for a title shot, like Sanctus just showed. And then they got Danny Garcia, who was coming off a loss. They put him in an eliminator with a guy that was coming off a fucking loss.
Yeah, I
So then
don't
there you
understand
go.
that
They're
shit.
making the rules up. They're making the rules up as they go.
Yeah.
Like they give the man a fucking eliminator that lost to Thurman. He already lost to Thurman. They fought. They
Yeah.
say, okay, we'll give you an eliminator fight. And the fight that we're going to give you as eliminator is a guy that's not even a top 5 welterweight coming off a loss. And then on Porter's end, they fucking said, well, if you want a rematch, you got to go do an eliminator with Andre Berto, who's coming off a win, who's better than Rios. So there you fucking go.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. I mean, these
Yeah, I have
these
to lean to
sanctioning bodies.
y'all understanding on that. I can't say I know how them title shots and how the belts work and shit. Like that shit just be scrambling in my brain, man.
I just watch, Trey. I just watch everything, bud.
You know,
I just
you
watch.
know, last year there were two fighters that actually got world title shots after a loss. Mariaga and
After
Kovalev,
a loss, and Sean Porter was put in with an eliminator.
and he's
Broner got the
winning.
title shot after a loss too, didn't he?
Who's
And
that,
he's
Trey?
winning.
Didn't Broner get a title shot after a loss?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
directly
lost to
after a
Porter.
loss.
He
Yeah.
lost to Porter, and then he got the fight for the 140 title, 40-pound title.
Yeah, yeah.
Giving
So
him the 4 world titles.
yeah,
That's crazy,
Yeah, I don't
man.
be understanding the criteria.
they literally gave Danny Garcia the path of least resistance to get in the same position as Sean Porter. That's why Sean Porter is so mad at Danny Garcia or at the Danny Garcia situation, and you can't blame him because motherfucker, I had a closer fight, in my opinion,
See, but
with Thurman
I
than
don't,
Danny
I
Garcia
don't, re-
did. You
I
maybe
don't
go
really.
fight Berto, and you let this guy fight Rios. I'd be mad if I was Sean Porter too.
I don't really have any sympathy for Porter because if it's about a title, you fight for another world title. Earl Spence offered that man a world title shot. He didn't have to fight no fucking eliminator. He didn't have to go through none of that. If he really wanted that title shot, he would have fought Earl Spence.
Well, Kenny Porter's reason I seen an interview on it. I seen the point in it. I'm not saying I condone it because I never gave it enough, really a lot of thought. But Kenny Porter, behold you, instead of Sean talking, pretty well, when he was asked about that, he said, we put too much work into this sanctioning body to get here, so we will fight Spence, but we're not going to do it. We're not
Yeah,
going
he
to
said
do
he
it
paid a
until we.
$250,000.
He used the example, like if you're in a company and you did certain things to get promotions and solidify yourself in a company, why would you go to this company and start from scratch? I'm not saying I didn't sign off on it, but that's, if you just want a little indication where the Porter side's coming from, that was right out of the horse's mouth, Kenny Porter.
Yeah, and the horse is full of shit. And let me
Horse
tell you
shit.
something. This is the bare fact right here. He wants a Danny Garcia payday. That's why everybody was calling out Danny Garcia, because he generates that type of revenue.
Yeah, it's true.
Other than Manny Pacquiao or maybe perhaps Adrian Broder, nobody's in that weight class sells, or grabs the attention of Danny Garcia.
The only thing that didn't
So
add up
that's
to me when I seen
that's
that interview,
that.
I actually seen the significance of what Porter was saying, but then I got to thinking, okay, if he goes to the other, like to the sanctioned body, that the belt that Spence got, I see what he's saying. He's kind of start from scratch, but then I start scratching my head and saying, well, if you get the fucking title from Spence, how you really start from scratch? Because you have a fucking title, and therefore you can have the fucking option to unify. So actually, it's almost like, since he used the analogy of a company, it's like you quitting a company that you put in work for a company that's going to give you the same position only faster. So that kind of didn't add up to me, but I could be mistaken in what he said, but I don't really see how not fighting Spencer getting a title doesn't help him.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
either either way, he could have easily, but this is what's going on with Kenny Porter. First of all, he fucking smothers the fuck out of his son. He needs to let him fucking already grow up. Second of all, yeah, man, this motherfucker is like, when Sean shadow boxing, he doesn't see his shadow. He sees Kenny behind him. That's
Yeah.
not him shadow, but he's not boxing his shadow. He's shadow boxing Kenny's fucking shadow. This dude is like white on rice. Watch, wait. But Kenny needs to start fronting, man, because if he actually thought that he could be, they could so easily beat fucking Errol Spence, you know, he he'd take that fight in a heartbeat, man. The problem is, you're gonna get paid. You're not gonna get paid as much as fighting Danny Garcia, and you're gonna get a real ass whooping.
Yeah, because I took that side when I did that interview with Fanon. I said you can't blame Sean Porter for not fighting Spence right now, because he has a chance. He's in a position to unify, and I actually took Porter's side. But then when I got to thinking, as things progressed and I watched, I was like, well, why are you asking for Danny Garcia then? I understand if you
The
want to
thing,
I will understand if you want to hold your position and say, I'm going to fight for two belts instead of one, and I'll go after that one belt later. I gave Porter that benefit of the doubt, but then he started saying Danny Garcia before he fought Rios. So I'm like, well, if you're going to hold on to the position, that's fine, but why are you holding on to the position when it comes to Spence, saying, well, no, 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 I'm in this position, and then, well, I want to fight Danny Garcia. I didn't, it doesn't, if I'm looking at it right, it doesn't seem adding up. I was taking these guys' side, but I mean, Spencer's a risk. It's starting on fucking fold here.
hey, Kenny Porter, he thinks he's slick as fuck. What he doesn't really want to tell people is that he got two lucrative fights on that side. So why the hell is he gonna risk catching the ass whooping with Earl Spence for a lot less money?
Well, if they're being slick, they ain't getting it from ADHD motherfuckers like me that are drinking coffee, watching everything that's happening in fucking boxing. I
Yeah.
can tell you that.
And, because look, he got Danny Garcia right there. He's pushing for that fight big time. He's been fucking after Danny Garcia even before he was, I think, fucking Keith 30. Well, more or less around the same time.
Yeah,
But
he was. And I
you
never,
got
yeah,
Keith
he was.
Thurman and you got Danny Garcia. Both fights are gonna make them. They're gonna make them more money than anything that Earl Spence. And the chances of you winning, well, at least in public perception, are a little bit better.
Yeah.
You know, so they're doing what everybody else is doing, that risk versus reward type shit.
Yeah,
But now
it's
Earl
man,
Spence is
what my
becoming
thing is right
Earl Spence is becoming the new Riggindale.
now. Yeah.
Slowly but surely. And I fuck with Keith, man. I'm telling you, I support Keith, and I favor Keith over Earl Spence, man, if they go at it. Yeah, he might get his ass knocked out, but that's what I'm gonna roll with. But Earl Spence is getting the Riggindale treatment little by little, man.
Only thing about Spence is that they can't say he boring. Cause they used to say Rickendale was
Oh
boring.
no, they whoever says that about Spence, man, they ought to go fucking somebody ought to shoot him. I don't care.
Yeah, they
Bust
just
a
can't
cap in
use
Yeah.
his
that
ass.
excuse.
They can't, how they fuck, they can't say Spence is boring now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They
They
can't
can't
use
say
that
he's
excuse.
boring. Can't say he's a runner.
Yeah,
They can't
man.
say shit about the dude.
They
Yeah.
can't say nothing about his work ethic because he's got the perfect work ethic for boxing.
Even Abel
So,
Sanchez can't say nothing about his attitude. He can't say that he need to change how he act. He the guy is very courteous and respectful to everybody, even Keith Thurman.
yeah, he got that
Yeah,
happy
yeah.
medium. He knows when to make the selling point, but you know what I mean? That's that Texan Southern fucking hospitality you were saying, Trey. Like he knows when to talk a little bit of shit for a
Yeah.
selling point or whatever, but he's not really like, you know what I mean? A lot of guys in his position would be pouring the heat on a lot more. But that's what I'm saying about his work ethic. He's just, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna fucking keep it moving. I can't focus on that. So don't get me wrong, because I'm a Thurman fan, man. Like I have respect for Spence. I have fucking respect for his skill set. I recognize his skill set. I do have minor critiques from him and shit like that. I'm not
He ain't perfect.
fucking.
He ain't
That's
perfect.
what I'm saying. But no, I respect that dude in the ring, what he does in the ring, and I respect him out. So just so that's known. I don't give a fuck if I
Lately,
hate a motherfucker. I go by the
lately,
skill set. I
lately,
don't
I
like Kovalev at
seldom,
all, but I
lately,
ain't gonna take away from the skill set.
I seldom agree with fishnets, but I agree with him when he's saying that, man. Errol Spence is not being promoted right over there.
Does he have a promoter?
I mean, advisor slash promoter, Heyman. Who else is going?
What's that Ali
I mean,
rule? What's the Ali rule? You can't be the manager and the
huh?
promoter at the same time.
What was what?
I said, what's that Ali rule? You can't be the manager and promoter at the same time.
The Ali Act.
The Ali Act, that's what it is, manager and promoter.
Yeah,
So what is
but
Al
that's
Heyman? He an
bullshit. Because
advisor.
that's bullshit because them boxers they don't slip so many times and shit. Or say giving Al Heyman credit that they put him. You know who my promoter is? Call Al Heyman. I'm like, I
Yeah.
thought he was an advisor. They
Yeah,
don't
their
fuck up so much.
promotion, their promotion is that free TV for those free views because Al Heyman's a manager, right? So that's
The act is supposedly it causes a conflict of interest.
Yeah, so really Al Heyman technically can't be their promoter because that would go against the Ali Act, right?
Okay, he won't say
Al
it,
Heyman.
and
Yeah, go
he
ahead,
won't
Sang.
never take the title, but we all know who the hell is promoting that.
What
Yeah.
what Heyman is a manager, but how they're getting promotion is instead of us paying 50, 60 fucking dollars to see them or buying a subscription channel, HBO or Showtime, you're getting that shit on NBC and network television just like you did in the Sugar Ray Leonard days. So you're getting your promotion, so to speak, because you're getting 5 million people to view you that probably wouldn't have fucking viewed you.
Yeah, that
You know what
makes
I
sense.
mean?
Heyman
But
is to me,
that's why
bro,
they
is
keep it so tight knit. That's why boys are kind of putting their suit and tie on, so to speak. Like Broner kind of had to tone it down because they were giving him limelight and promotional. They were giving him promotion by putting him on network TV, but he's on network TV, so he can't be on there being, oh yeah. You know what I mean? He couldn't be doing that. That's why you seen Broner tone it down because Al Heyman's like, I'm giving you this promotion. I'm giving you this limelight. I'm giving you this exposure. You can't be running around here with your pants half down, spitting fucking gum out, and you know what I mean. You can't be doing that
Hey,
because
Ty,
you're on net. you're on network television, and NBC are broadcasting companies like HBO that they don't really fucking need us. So
Hey, Ty,
you gotta straighten up.
did you ever send Trey that Paulie Malignaggi video?
No, I will. You know
Oh, that
about
shit is funny.
bankruptcy. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Hey, Paulie fuck around and he start imitating
Verona.
Adrian Broner. he starts to
Yeah.
he starts walking around in a circle. He like he fuck around, does a 360 for nothing, and then comes back and then he wants to talk like because he's doing a 360 trying to gather his thoughts to see what he's gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna check it
Yeah, that
out.
shit. Paulie be
All right,
going
so
in on motherfuckers though. I ain't gonna lie to you.
did y'all see the confrontation between Jamal Charlo and
Oh, that's what I wanted
Dan?
to talk about. Shit. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
Danny Jacobs and Jamal.
What y'all think about that
That's
shit?
Go ahead, Sanctus.
it's gonna go down. That's the next fight.
Yep.
How
I
did
think they're
how did
gonna
the
pay Hugo.
confrontation
They're
go
gonna
down?
pay Hugo Santero some money, man, to step aside. They're gonna let them boys stump. At least if it goes how Jamal wants. Cause I think he does want to fight Danny Jacobs. That I don't think none of them Charlos, man, are I don't think the motherfuckers front. I think they act like that all fucking day long. He probably be scaring the shit out of their kids and they fucking
Yeah,
parents and shit. They be
that's not a
fuck.
persona. That's not a persona.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they what they call it? They bipolar motherfuckers, man.
They're mean. I'm scared of them through digital fucking camera on my phone.
Well, what they say? What did Denzel say in American Gangster?
You said a lot of
Man, he
things.
He said the loudest one in the room is the weakest.
Yeah, that don't always apply.
the loudest one in the
Yeah,
room. What
but
Or Ali would have
usually is
been
the
the
bigger.
weakest.
I mean, ain't nothing 100% absolute. But
No.
you know, he said that because most of the time it's true. And like them
I
guys,
Yeah.
think
I'm from Texas, man, so I respect the Charlos, but I just don't really feel like they have earned the respect that they getting because they beat two prospects. It ain't like they went up in there and knocked out a fucking champion or something. They ain't knocked out Golovkin yet. I mean, goddamn, you
but
still got to do
they
it
haven't
first.
gotten they haven't gotten the chance to do so. I mean, Canelo will fucking you know fucking doing the fucking cucaracha around all these motherfuckers and shit in that weight class.
Let me ask
Let's
y'all a
keep it real.
question. Let me ask y'all a question. Let's say a motherfucker walked up. Let's say, let's say you made a motherfucker mad. You did something, and the motherfucker said, "I hate you," or a motherfucker said, "I hate you." Which one sound more convincing? Yelling or the motherfucker just telling you, "Man, I hate you," like he gonna kill your ass?
No,
It's like,
the
I'd
one
be
that
more,
doesn't say shit,
I'd be more
the
concerned.
one that doesn't say nothing and just looks at me and nods like,
Well,
mm-hmm.
there go. Well,
Yo,
that's even better. That's even better.
that when I tell people,
All
hey,
they
yo, man,
loud.
hey,
I'll
that when I
expand
tell
on that.
everybody with me, yo, man, that motherfucker gonna pop the trunk. Let's get the fuck up out of
In Charlo's defense, I'll expand on that question. I would go with the one that's not as loud, but I'll go with the one that's showing me he's on the right path to doing so. And the Charlos are doing that, right? So it's not how, even though I don't think how they talk is a persona, that's not so much how I'm looking at it, because I look at what you do in the ring, and they're taking the right steps to show that they want these certain fights.
I
So if I was to
respect that.
expand on
I
that question.
mean, they want to fight, but I don't look at the loud talking and shit like everybody else. Like that shit
Yeah.
don't really impress me. I
Oh,
tell
I mean,
myself, I'm not listening to these fighters no more. I'm looking at what you do in the ring, and that's it. Because if I
That's
listen to
basically what
your
I
as
do.
far as
interviews, if I
as
listen to
far
your
as
interview,
resume, as far as resumes, yeah, man, they might need they need that signature fight. You know what I mean? Maybe Lara for Jamel, maybe Jacobs. I think even
Yeah.
Jacobs is a signature fight for him up there.
yeah,
It
for
Or
is.
sure.
Billy Joe Saunders. You know, they have to beat somebody just a little bit better than fucking what's his name?
Highland.
No. Highland was he was I never rated him too high anyway. I
Let
was
me
talking
ask y'all
about
this question:
how did y'all feel about the Charlos before the J Rock and Lubin fights?
I thought they were actually. I favor them significantly in both fights. I didn't think J Raw really had
No,
nothing
I'm saying
for.
before those victories, how did you look at them? Like, how
They
did you
were
view the
still
Charlos?
talking
Did you
about
see
as
them as
far as
world beaters?
persona.
Yeah, like how did you feel about them? Did you feel like they were world beaters?
Nah, I always felt that they're they're up there in the mix.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I'm gonna
to be
be
honest
honest
with
with
you,
you. When I looked at them, I kind of felt like they were basic a little bit. I like their jab. I like the straight right. Jamal Charlo ain't showed me a hook. I like Jamel Charlo hook a little bit better. I mean I don't.
I think Jamel is better than Jamal.
I think so too, because I like his hook better, you know what I'm saying? But I don't see now one of them going to the body and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't look at them as just world beaters. Then they got those victories, and now all of a sudden everybody then turned them into the boogeyman, and they talking loud,
Nah,
they scaring everybody. Like when I see the loud talking and shit, I don't look at it as a negative really, but I don't look at it as a positive either. I mean,
I agree
it
with
ain't
you
nothing to
because
me.
yeah,
I
I
don't
agree
mind
with
them
you.
being loud. I don't mind them
I
being loud
I
because
don't mind,
the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If you
yeah,
ain't loud in that fucking sport, if you're not loud in that sport, you don't get fucking. Sometimes you
Yeah,
don't get
you're right.
Well,
opportunities.
what I'm saying, Ty, is that they scaring people. Like it's
Well, I
people
don't
scared.
know. You think so? You think they are though, or are they? I don't think
I'm
they
not
are.
saying that they scaring the fighters. I'm saying they scaring the fans. Everybody is impressed with their demeanor. They like the Charlos are, they
Well,
this and they
see,
that. I
Yeah,
we're
just
we're
no.
in the we're in the era where that's considered professional boxing now. Before professional boxing, guys, yeah, every now and then you had, you lose cannons, but for the most part, everybody kept it civil, until they got in the ring and beat the shit out of each other. And
Yeah,
I'm
now we're in an era where, now it's cool and shit to behave in certain, this certain type of way.
yeah,
And they're
I
they're
see what
brought up
Trey's
in
saying.
they're brought up in that culture, this new culture. Charlo's are young dudes, so they're behaving like what's acceptable now, for athletes.
Oh yeah, in that fight, in a combat sport, yeah,
let
I
me
see
let
what
me tell
Trey's getting
y'all
at.
something. Let me tell y'all something. Don't be surprised if they got a little Kovalev in them. Because they gonna come across some people that's not gonna be scared of that shit. All that loud talking and being rough and all that shit that everybody impressed with. See, people are taking their demeanor as part of their attributes. And I'm saying I don't do that. And there's gonna be some people they're not gonna give a fuck about none of that shit they talking about. And they gonna go in there and it's just gonna be another boxing match. You know what I'm saying? And
Like
they
I
gonna
always, like I always tell, yeah. Go ahead, finish. I'm sorry.
nah, yeah. That's that. I made my point.
Well, like I always said, and I've said it. All these fighters that supposedly, unbeatable. I never subscribed to that bullshit with any type of fighter. Not even the greatest of all time or Floyd or anything. I think every man that gets in that ring is beatable. You
Yeah,
you just you just gotta you just gotta, what I'm saying, lock horns with that dude. You know what I'm saying? Who's
yeah,
going who's gonna be your nightmare on that night?
I see
yeah.
where Trey's getting at. I think it just depends on the fan because I think the Charlos are serious. Like I believe what they're saying is authentic. I don't think it's a persona, but I don't really find that their demeanor really transitions in the ring because when I see them boxing in the ring, I see them boxing smart. Like they'll
Yeah,
box smart when they have to. They won't they won't box reckless, like kind of like how they talk reckless. So even though I'm not saying it's not authentic how they talk, but I mean, me as a fight fan, I look at what you do in a ring, and really when you watch them box, they don't box like if they box like they talk, then they would kind of be reckless, and they're not. They're really kind of they fight intelligently and shit. So fans shouldn't really. I agree with you. Fans shouldn't really be going by people how they talk because they don't always box how they talk because the Charlos don't box how they talk. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with their boxing, but they box intelligently. They don't box recklessly like they fucking talk.
yeah. What you
Yeah,
when
look
when I
at
look at
Yeah, go
I,
ahead.
I I see a little bit of a bully mentality, a little bit. You know, when you step
Yeah.
up to that bully man and punch him in his mouth. Like even when Jacob stepped to Jamal yesterday, or whenever that video was posted, like I didn't see the same dude that I've been seeing. Like I seen that shit calm down real quick because a real man then came and stepped to your face, and he didn't come in there on no super aggressive street shit either. He came in there on some grown man assertive shit,
And
and
then
I didn't
everybody
see.
else got involved, and that pissed me off.
Yeah, they jumped in with all that bullshit, and you know, but I saw, to me, Danny Jacobs looked like the greater man when he stepped to that dude. You know what I'm saying? And I'm from Texas, man. I support the Charlos. You know what I'm saying? But I just call it how I see it. And I feel like
Yeah,
Danny
yeah.
Jacobs, I think Jacobs will beat Charlo, man. I
And
really do.
if their personality does transition in the ring, I can tell you what could be a bad thing for them. They seem like the guys with some tempers on them. So if that transitions into the ring, that can show a lack of discipline or whatever. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not going to say that
I actually,
that can happen. But I mean, your personality transitions into a boxing ring, so they seem like little wild boys, like you know what I mean. Like they'll jump quick, like you know what I mean. They'll hit before they ask questions, and that's not really a good trait to have in a boxing ring because you gotta learn to take what you get with stride and then reset and go and further go along. So I mean that could play against them if it transitions into the ring.
And another thing
yeah.
too, I'm a big poker player. I know y'all don't really know me that well, you know what I'm saying? But poker has been like a real big part of my life. And like one of the books I read was by this guy named Mike Carroll. One of his quotes was, "Strong means weak, and weak means strong." Because you know, if you're playing poker, if you got a good hand, you're not gonna act like you got a good hand. You're gonna act like you got a weak hand. And when you
Yeah.
got a weak hand, you're not gonna act weak. You're gonna act strong. So like when I see people like the Charlos, like I actually have more respect for people that are assertive instead of super aggressive. Because
He got that from
The
he
Charlos
got
don't
that
act
quote
like,
from Sun Tzu.
huh?
He got that quote from Sun Tzu.
He
Art
got
of
that quote.
War. The Art
Oh
of
yeah,
Yeah, he
War.
yeah,
got
yeah.
that from the Art
That's
of
from Sun
War.
Tzu too. Yeah, I forgot about the Art of War. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's where the shit originated. Yeah, you're right. And he was
Well,
just using that quote.
my email says Art of War.
Yeah, for sure. But
That
like
original
like
fucking.
damn, I forgot what the hell I was about to say now. If I
Yeah,
catch
you were
on,
saying about the poker quote.
yeah, I had said with the I mean, basically, I had another thought in my mind. You know what I'm saying?
Damn,
For
my fault, man. I
not
cut you
all good.
off and shit.
Yeah, it's all good. You know what I'm saying? But I was just trying to say that, like, oh yeah, the Charlos, they don't act like grown men to me. They act like some teenagers or something
No,
to
no,
me.
no. Yeah, yeah, they're on some teenager type shit, man. They on some little teenager fucking in the club type shit.
But what's gonna happen when a grown man step to him?
We'll
You know?
find out.
Oh,
That's what fights are for. Results.
Yeah.
he
I,
needs
I think Jacob's gonna be the one.
Oh,
well, I mean,
Jacob's already proven that Jacob's. Yeah, he's already proven it to me. I don't put too much
they
credence in how people talk because
I
everybody approaches fights differently, and everybody approaches confrontation differently, and everybody has their defense mechanism. You know what I mean? Like some people
Okay, but
get
like,
loud.
but Ty, look at somebody like Fanon. I ain't trying to put down my boy Fanon, but like he would be scared to death of a motherfucker like Jamal Charlo or something. Like, listen to the way he talks about him and shit. He talks about them like they just some loose cannon motherfuckers that just gonna run through anything based off their attitude. They some real ones and all that kind of shit. And they haven't proven to be real ones. Have we ever seen them motherfuckers come through adversity and get off the canvas or something and come back and win a fight? We ain't seen none of that shit. All we heard is the way they talk. That's
I mean,
it.
Yeah,
I seen Jamal come back from adversity with that John Johnson fight, but he was never really hurt. He was just being out box.
Which fight?
But uh,
What?
John Jackson,
Yeah. Was Trout? It seemed like Trout or
Julian
somebody
Jackson's
was getting
son.
with him too. It seemed
No, that
like
was
Trout.
Jamal.
Okay, yeah, okay.
believe it or not,
Jamel
Rosado was getting with
Jamel went
Charlo too.
to John. Huh?
I feel like
What was that?
Julian Williams was getting with him until he got caught. I thought J Rock was doing some real good things off in that fight until he got that uppercut on his ass.
Rosado fought Charlo too, and he I wouldn't say he was really
No,
winning the fight, but he was disrupting Charlo's fucking rhythm. And
Yeah,
Charlo
I
had
thought
to, that's what I'm saying about that demeanor. If Charlo had the
Rosado
demeanor
was
that he
fighting
shows outside the
all
ring, he would have fucked that Rosado fight up.
yeah.
But he
the time.
didn't. He played smart.
I, I thought Jamel gave Rosado a boxing lesson, man. He made him look bad.
He did give him a boxing lesson, but
I don't no,
he had to be
I don't
smart
think
about
it's
it.
I don't think it's Rosado who you probably referring to. I think it's Marta
Yeah, Linus
Rosen.
Martin Rosen is who I was thinking of when you
Oh,
was talking.
Yeah,
maybe. Fuck, when you watch that
because
many fights.
Jermel, man, he whitewashed Gabriel Rosado.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I
Yeah,
could be wrong. I know there was one fighter
that fight.
that Charlo was winning, but he had to work for it. Like, even though he was dominant, he had to work for it. Like,
Yeah,
he had his
that
rhythm.
was Jack John. That
Yeah,
was
he had his
John
rhythm
Johnson.
disrupt. He had his rhythm disrupted. He had to
That
he
was
had to play smart. He couldn't act reckless like he does outside the ring.
that was John Jackson, Julian Jackson's son. He was losing that fight. He came back and knocked the dude out.
It could be, yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah, he
gonna
was
give them their
clearly losing that
credit.
fight.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them their credit because they do have good jabs. They got a lot of power. They can get your ass out of there. They some turn out the light guys. You know what I'm saying? But it's some things in their style to me that's desirable. Like I would like to see them go to the body and shit, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they punches ain't just super diverse. I mean, that uppercut that Jamal hit J Rock with, that was kind of crazy because he blocked that right hand with his right glove and then came back with the same
Yeah,
glove. I thought that was pretty player. But
that's
I
fucking
mean,
rare.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I think they could be a little better. And being in the
Yeah,
South, like it's a reason why you don't see a lot of champions coming out the South. You don't have a lot of good sparring and shit down here because you don't have a lot of high class fighters. You got to really go to the West Coast, to go to the Midwest, or go to the East Coast or something. Go to Philly if you want to get you some good work in. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I feel like if they would have came up in California or in the Midwest, they might be a little bit better because they start looking a little basic to me.
Well, we're gonna find out because once you step up in weight or competition, any flaws or anything you have, blanks will be filled in once you step up. So we'll
And
find out.
that's a good point you made because when I seen Jamal fight Holland, I know Holland was in there with one leg, but the punches that Jamal was hitting him with, they didn't seem like they had this exact same effect as they did at 154. You know what I'm
We're
saying?
supposed
Like
to. Nope.
he looked a little bit more human. You know what I'm
It's like,
saying?
well, I mean, we don't
go
really
ahead,
know
Zach.
how how good of a chin Highland really has. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
we're not very familiar with him. He's never been knocked out,
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was just
or
off balance with his leg and shit. So
some of
It's
them
like Triple G.
Argentinians do, man. They got granite chins, man.
It's like Triple G, no shade or nothing, but just to give an example about how I said it, if you move up weight or competition, blanks will start to get filled in. People said, "Oh, Triple G was kind of exposed because he was getting hit by certain shots from Brook." I was like, "No, I already seen that, and the man never moved his head. I already seen that. I had a buddy that fought him when they were both prospects. A personal cousin of mine fought Triple G. No
yeah,
bullshit. I None of that because I watch intensely these fights, and I like to think I know a little bit what I'm talking about when I'm watching it. I already knew Triple G, his inside work wasn't that good. His style, he needs you at the end of his punches. I already knew that he didn't implement head movement. I didn't need fucking Brook to show me that. But what I told people is all you seen when he stepped up in competition with Jacobs and Canelo and stuff like that is all you got to see is it shown more.
yeah.
Brook never fucking exposed Triple. How did Brooks expose Triple G? Triple G's been hit by guys that he's fucking knocked out. Martin Murray would fucking anytime he backed him up just like fucking Jacobs did. Fucking he would get up in that high guard and he would catch him. Triple G's been getting hit, But as you go up in competition, you start to see those flaws or those blanks fill in that they just show up more as the competition goes. So that's why I tell people, don't be telling me Triple G sits there and gets hit on purpose. He don't get hit on purpose. He don't move his head. So when he's in there with a real one like Danny Jacobs, now it's going to be more noticeable.
Another thing that I noticed about Triple G, I noticed what you said, but I also noticed that like guys like Willie Monroe, Curtis Stevens, like they would have like little moments in the fight where they said fuck it and threw caution to the wind and they just stepped to Triple G. Like they would have like this little 5 or 10 second little spurt in the fight where they just step to Triple G, they'll throw some shit and
Yeah.
whatever happened, and they would have success. Because Triple G would just put his gloves up with the earmuffs and he would just back up and block. And he wouldn't
Yeah.
counter punch. So I was like, man, if a motherfucker be first against Triple G, I think they got a pretty decent chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why
And
I think Charlo is a bad matchup for Triple G.
oh yeah.
Looking at styles, you know what I'm saying?
And it's no shade on Triple G. I just use him as an example. I've been just saying, what my point was is for some people it took Danny Jacobs and Canelo to show them the flaws. It didn't with me. I seen that a long time ago. I just knew it was going to show up more because it's going to happen more consistently with Jacobs and Canelo.
And I
I'm
feel
just gonna
like Jacobs beat Triple G, man. I mean, personally.
Yeah, I had him winning, but what can you do?
I'm just gonna advise you right now, Ty, get prepared for that hate mail with them Triple G fans, them little Triple G tards.
Whatever. If they can't handle down the middle, then I don't know what to tell them. Like, if they want to create their own narratives to suit their fucking life, then I mean, whatever floats your boat. I don't do that. You know what I mean? I critique Rigo in the Lomachenko fight. I said anytime I see him in the fucking on the inside, he doesn't respond like a guy that fights well on the inside. Guess what? I like fucking Rigo. I like Rigo because I like his skill set, and I like Rigo for the same reason why I root for Wilder, because I don't like how fucking people treat him. But that don't mean I'm not going to critique him. If I see something, I see something. I mean, it's boxing. You know what I mean? That's just how that works with me. So I mean, if they get upset, they get upset. Don't talk shit to me online, and then I won't tell you what I fucking think.
How dare you talk like that about the greatest middleweight of all time?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a true story. My cousin Ian Gardner fought Triple G back when they were in the prospects. I think there was an 8-rounder. He fought some legit dudes. He didn't win those upper class fights, but he fought Triple G. He fought Arthur Abraham. He fought Chad Dawson.
Triple G,
Yeah.
Triple G knocked out. He knocked out. Fucking, I'm talking about nasty as fuck. Lucian Bute.
Yeah. My cousin was one of the only now 5 guys that went the distance with him. Ian Gardner from St. John, New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Go watch.
Yeah.
Go watch Triple G fights, amateur fights with a guy named Yordenis Despain.
Okay.
He fought him. He fought Triple G 3 times. I think he actually won a couple of them, but
Yeah.
he didn't get decisions. But they went at it. That was a war, man. Them motherfuckers. So, and then you look at Triple G's style when he was fighting the Spain, it's basically the same shit that he does now. He's more of a little body puncher, focuses a little bit more on the body, but the same aggressiveness, the same style. I mean, Abel Sanchez, and he didn't do shit with Triple G. He inherited the talent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a lot of coaches, like, what's his name when, what's that team, I think, when Phil Jackson left, who was the coach?
I'm not too well schooled on that. I won't even lie.
Phil Jackson left who?
The Lakers, I think.
When he left the Bulls?
What was it? No, it wasn't Phil Jackson. What am I talking? Okay, it's not even basketball. I'm sorry. My train of thought was on something else. When Joe Girardi fucking inherited the Yankees and shit from
Yeah, I don't know shit about baseball.
from Joe Torre, right? and they went. He went back to the World Series with that team. You know, Joe Torre. I mean, Joe Girardi and shit. He didn't build the New York Yankees. It was Joe Torre that did that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing with Abel Sanchez. You inherited the talent, and now you're trying to take credit like you build or you mold some shit. Like,
They gave you the keys to a Ferrari.
yeah, like that idiot talking about that he molded Terry Norris. Motherfucker, Terry Norris was fighting like that man in his fucking first, third, like four, fifth fucking professional fights, and you weren't even his trainer. What are you talking
He
about?
he
You
actually he actually said that Terry Norris was boxing smart, and he told Terry Norris that I can't sell you like this, so we gonna have to be more aggressive and basically fight Mexican style, so I can
yeah.
sell you. He said
If
he
you
dumbed
watch
him
Terry
down.
Norris, if you watch Terry Norris fight when he had another trainer, even during the commentator was like he's talking about Terry Norris. Terry Norris, a young, very aggressive fighter. You know what I'm saying? This is the commentator. Shit,
Yeah,
Abel Sanchez were nowhere around that fucking, Terry Norris at that point.
yeah,
Yeah. Not
Why the
all
fuck?
chemistry is good.
No, but he didn't fucking, if anything, you fucking Terry Norris and shit became a worse fighter fucking with you. Yeah, he might
Yeah.
have, what I'm saying, won some
Because
fights and
a fighter
yeah,
does get to the point where he is who he is, and that's it. You know
Terry
what I mean?
Norris
That's
might
so
box a little
good
bit, but
or
you hit
bad.
that motherfucker, boy, he come at you and shit trying to kill your ass.
yeah,
A coach
He was,
shouldn't tell somebody to alter the style unless it's for a positive impact.
yeah. I agree.
why doesn't he tell Triple G to alter his stuff?
Because guess what, motherfucker? I don't care if I sell. Because it don't matter if I sell more and I make $5 million more in my career if I got motherfucking brain damage. Well, you sit home with your family, healthy, with your mind intact, and I'm sitting there with millions of dollars in a fucking bank and don't even know how to write a fucking check. So to me, that's all bullshit. You
Yeah,
don't you
The reason,
don't you don't tell a fighter to fucking change up unless it's an effective change up. And a good coach understands who he has. You're not going to try to and you're not going to try to implement in your coaching a guy to work on the head movement if he just doesn't really fucking have he doesn't have the head movement, and you got to know kind of where he's at, like, okay, this is the extent of where he's at. But yeah, I don't agree with, well, if you want to sell more, well, if I want to sell more, we're in a sport that we get brain trauma, man, so selling more might be fucking detrimental. So I don't like stuff like that myself.
yeah. And
but
at
it's
the
not his job. It's not his job to fucking sell his fighter. That's not his job. That's his manager's job. That's his promoter's job. Your job is to produce the absolute best product of that fighter going into that
Yeah,
fight.
they're worried
You know,
about their own
and,
pockets.
and
They're worried about
minimize
their own pockets.
and minimize the fighters. You know what I'm saying? Absorption of damage. That's your fucking job as a trainer to teach the skills that are gonna help them not get hit and try to win fights. You know what I'm saying? But we're taking minimal amount of damage.
Yep,
Not to
that's
sell them.
your.
Bitch, you ain't no fucking salesman. Who the fuck are you? This dude is a fucking idiot, man. I'm
let
telling
me
you,
ask y'all
somebody
a
slap
question.
the shit out of Abel punk ass.
Let me ask y'all a question. How many like Mexican fighters do y'all see suffering from slurred speech and like CTE and shit?
I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. I'm sure there is some,
I
but
think
a lot of the times you don't get these effective 20 years down the road. So you don't know, right? Well, you don't know if Robert Guerrero, no shade on the man, is going to have problems at 60. And even if he has problems right now, he ain't going to publicize that shit. It ain't
well
never
shit,
good to get hit.
I'm not even getting hit like Robert and shit, man. I know when I'm 60, man, I'm gonna be all fucked up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, people got to understand, like, they got to have respect for humans too. Like, if you want to take it, if you really want to look at the big picture, boxing ain't the smartest thing to do anyway. Like, getting hit in the fucking head and your
Right
brain
now,
rattling off its skull ain't the smartest thing to do. So to me, the most and the logical thing to do is try to minimize as much that happening as much as possible. To me, like, I mean, brain trauma is not to be anything. I'm not trying to water down the sport, but I work in a hospital. I see the effects of fucking brain trauma and stuff like that. And like, to me, like, it doesn't make a lot of sense to to if you got the skills not to get hit, don't fucking get hit.
How old is Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.?
Fuck in his 60s for
He's
sure.
When I
about
look at that motherfucker, he look like he doing good, man. He
no,
on
no,
the
I don't
show.
think he's 60. I don't think he's 60. Julio Cesar Chavez Senior must be somewhere around 55, 56.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking about 55. But like he looked good to me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I see him doing the show where they was
Well,
promoting
60,
Canelo,
basically.
huh?
Yeah, he looks good, but you know what? Chavez
Yeah.
had a that motherfucker had a thick ass fucking skull,
That's
man.
what I'm trying to say.
He had
Like
like a plated armor and shit. Like well, that fucking one of that fucking plated armor fish and shit, man. You gotta fucking cut that motherfucker with a chainsaw.
see, that's what I
Yeah.
was trying to say. Like I look at black
Mexicans
people,
are thick. Well, no, they say, I'm just, I don't want to fucking generalize or whatever, but they say that, they thick headed,
man, let
thick
me
Yeah.
tell
skull,
you something, man.
thick
Like
skull.
when I see them Mexicans and shit, like when I compare them to black people, like there are some
They take punches,
physiological
man.
differences. Like black people, like we'll have a lot more like fast twitch muscle fibers and shit.
Yeah.
Mexicans that have a slow twitch. That's why they can do that distance and shit a lot. You know what I'm saying? It do seem like Mexican people take punches better. It seems like the motherfuckers got some thick ass skulls for real or something. Like black people, we not meant to walk through 2 or 3 punches and take to give one. We just not built like that, man, physically. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like a motherfucker like Abel Sanchez talking about he took Terry Norris and made him fight a certain way. I mean, if that motherfucker
No,
didn't
he
want to
didn't.
fight like that, he wouldn't have fought like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Ty, if it ain't his temperament, his mentality to fight like that, he ain't gonna fight like that. I'm gonna tell you, black people naturally, we not meant to be taking all the motherfucking punches like that. Why you
No.
think we get on that bicycle and learn to fucking pull
Look at
Well,
counter?
history. Look at history for the most part. Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roy
yeah,
Jones. Look
yeah,
at the
yeah.
fucking history. Pernell Whitaker. You want to keep it current? You know what I mean? Floyd Mayweather.
okay, but that's a handful of black fighters now. There was a lot of ultra aggressive, fucking in your face type of fucking black fighters too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just, it's just that the slick fighters usually stand out because they are the ones that have the longevity. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because of the
Yeah, but
skill.
I bet them dudes that's them real uh aggressive fighters. I bet they were fucked up when they retired too. I bet they couldn't talk
I'm
because
pretty sure a
even the
lot of
slick
them,
ones was
a
fucked
lot
up.
of them.
I bet they wasn't looking like Chavez. 'Cause I looked at Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson was fucked up when he was Chavez age. You know what I'm saying? And you
Sugar Ray
can't really say
Robinson
because
fought that near fucking 200 fights, man. Somewhere
I
around that.
understand Chavez had his fair share of fights too now. And
Yeah, yeah. He had
Chavez
a
was
what?
right
A
there.
hundred. He had like 103 fights or some shit.
I mean, that ain't 20. You know what I'm saying? I mean, how
Yeah.
many Ali had? Ali, what he had, what, 50 something fights?
Nah, he had like
And
70 fights.
And if
70
you're
something?
prone to
Like,
stuff, you can speed it up too. That's why it's never smart to get hit. If you're prone to dementia or Alzheimer's or stuff like that, you can speed up that process. You know what I mean? That does happen.
Look at Roger Mayweather.
current, currently, I see a couple of Mexican fighters, well, Mexican American fighters that they look like they're a little bit on that slur
I
speech
think about
down
like
slow.
Brandon
Brandon
Rios, he
Rios,
talked fucked.
Mike Alvarado's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon Rios, he talked fucked up his whole career to me, though. He always slurred when I heard him
Yeah,
talk.
but he sounds Brandon Rios sounds worse than when his time when he fought Richard Abreu and he
Yeah,
was fighting
it sound
as
worse.
Mayweather.
It's just like James Tony. James Tony always mumbled and sounded fucked up, and now it sounds
Yeah.
a lot worse. He always
Yep.
sounded fucked up, but it sounds worse now though, for sure.
He sounds, yeah, you almost need a translator for him. It's the same as Mayweather. People get on Mayweather for being defensive, but look at Mayweather's family tree.
Yeah,
Roger's not in good shape. His father's not in good shape.
exactly.
So if you want the honest truth, the boxing wouldn't even be recommended for them. It wouldn't be recommended for anybody, but it definitely wouldn't be recommended when that's a family trait down your
Yeah,
Well,
family tree. And then they wonder why Floyd got defensive as he got older. And you know what? I'll put it to you like this: Roger Mayweather, the problems he's having now, and Floyd Senior, they might have would have developed those anyways. But
yeah,
they might have that shit now because they were boxing. And Floyd Mayweather is another one. If Floyd Mayweather might not have been defensive safety first the last 5 years, he could be in the same condition. So I don't blame Floyd Mayweather
And
because
we
it's a part of winning.
he still might be in that same position because like what a lot of people don't understand is like a lot of the damage that fighters take actually comes from sparring and not the actual fights. Like
In the gym.
you don't know how many times I've seen Ali on clips just laying back on the ropes and letting his sparring partners wail away. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like that shit does more damage than the actual fight. So
Where are you
who's to
at
say,
75% of the time
huh?
in the fucking gym? I said, where are you at 75% of the time in the gym, sparring and fighting? So if you got people sparring like all out wars, like
Yeah.
they were fights,
But
a lot of that shit happens. A lot of that shit can happen in the gym because that's where you're at 4 to 6 days a week.
So it might happen to Floyd
but
too, man.
you gotta realize how many times do you actually in a camp do you spar just for that one fight? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
you go do weekly sessions of 4 or 5 different sparring partners and shit
Yeah.
just in preparation for a fight. Those are
Yep.
fights too. I mean, if the sparring partners are coming in to compete, you know, some of them
Yep.
they're not there for you to work on specific shit. You know what I'm saying? They're going in there
Uh-huh.
to
And
show
if
off, be like, hey, I can fuck with you. I can fuck with Floyd. I can fuck with Spence. I can hold my own with him. You
yep.
know what I'm saying? They're gonna try to hit you just to make a name for themselves.
Yep. And if you're sparring correctly, especially for a world level, you're bringing in guys fresh while you're not fresh, so you can learn how to deal with adversity, so you can learn how to implement slipping shots or catching shots while you're tired. So you already know you're taking a little bit of damage anyways if you're sparring
Oh,
correctly. You're not going
you
to
do
go the
realize
Conor McGregor route.
that Ricky Hatton fucking sparred Erislandy Lara, bro, to prepare for Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
Oh
You're
man,
better off.
his ass
You're
whooped.
better off. It's in your best
Lara
interest
says he
to take care of
Lara
yourself
said
in the gym.
Lara said he put an ass whooping on fucking Ricky Hatton.
Oh
For sure.
yeah. It's in your best interest to be smart and take care of yourself in the gym while you're sparring because that's where you're at. Wherever you're going to be at the most getting punched in the head, logic tells you that's where you got to be the most conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, these guys they take their health for granted. It's one thing for the fighter, you know, to throw caution to the wind during a fight, but when you got a corner who's actually, you know what I'm saying, trying to change your style into a style that supposedly sells, so you're gonna get hit more. Because I don't see fucking Triple G. Yeah, Mexican style. Blah, blah, blah. Come forward. Yeah, let's go toe to toe. Yeah, but anybody can go to toe to toe. But
It's
when
not
when
worth
the
it.
fuck have you seen Triple G fucking weave under and fucking roll with punches? I mean, you know,
Hell
and
nah.
bend
You
his
ain't gonna see.
waist and shit. You know what I'm saying? And get real low and avoid punches. He doesn't do that. He stands for the most part. He does a lot of subtle things defensively. Don't get me wrong. You know, he doesn't get hit a lot as much as a guy that's always, you know, putting pressure on an opponent. Triple G, for the most part, he doesn't get hit a lot, but that's a
No, he's
lot of
got
it.
good distance control. He
A lot
don't
of it
smother.
is due to his offense, though.
Yeah, he don't smother his offense and stuff a lot.
You know, because
So
guys are worrying about getting knocked out. That's why they're not fucking committing to hitting Triple G the way, you know, he really should be getting hit.
yeah,
You know, so
yeah,
a lot of his reputation and his offense and the pressure he puts on you, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that is defense for Triple G. But
yeah.
actual defense, you know, skillful defense, Abel Sanchez ain't shown that do that shit.
Yeah, and you already know Triple G is who he is because he hasn't really changed. Like his defense skill set's kind of been the
The
same.
man
You know what I mean?
basically the same fighter that he was in the amateurs. I mean, except for maybe a little bit more of a jab
Yeah,
and and a little bit more of a body puncher now, you know, that he mixes it up. But the style, the straight up style, the same, you know, rhythmic offense, the same
yeah,
shit he was doing. Just watch his amateur fights, man. I mean, there's some subtle things that he has changed, but you get that, as you progress as a professional. Really, that
Yes.
has nothing. You could learn that from several freaking trainers. It doesn't mean that one trainer has made you a champion, and that's what a lot of these trainers, they're actually self promoting, you know,
Yeah.
off the back of their fucking fighter.
Yeah. We seen the
That's why I don't
extended
even like.
Triple G.
That's why I don't even like when these fuckers, man, are fucking constantly fucking hounding the trainers, and they putting these motherfuckers up on every video. Man, get the fuck out of here, man. Start fucking just interview the fucking fighter. That's who I want to hear talk anyway.
Yeah.
Glorizing these fucking trainers and shit who don't even get hit, man. Fuck that, man. Leave the glory to the fighter, man. If he loses, they blame the fighter. If he wins, they give him and the trainer the glory.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, man, Abel Sanchez needs a reality check, and to be honest with you, he's a good trainer. For the move for what he does. But stop acting, bro, like you're some fucking top notch Hall of Fame type of trainer. Because if you
And
were,
one
your
of his
fighters would
fighters
be
got his ass whooped last night, didn't
who Abel's.
he? Yeah. Did ain't Barrera with Abel?
Nah, Barrera is with Derek Santos.
Oh, okay. Oh, so he left Abel then.
Yeah, Babel was fucking giving him a boxing lesson. Then he just broke him down and shit and just dropped him. But
Yeah.
Barrera, man, I mean, he looked lethargic as fuck. He looked even slower than when he fought Ward,
Yeah.
and a lot of that, had to do with Bibble's speed. The little motherfucker could throw punches. For he got pretty good hands for a light heavyweight.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
he
have to
does.
go check that
And
fight out, man, because I still ain't even seen it.
I mean, I had to change, I had to switch, and shit. I almost missed the whole first run and shit, fucking with that fight. I said, fuck this shit, man. Barrero over here, fucking just looking sloppy.
Lethargic.
He looked not only lethargic, but he was repetitive. Everything he did and shit was like repetitive.
Yeah.
There was no element of surprise and shit. The same basic shit, the jab and then the little right hand to the hip, back
You
with a
know what?
jab.
A lot of the time, like that should be like overtraining too. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, like for example, me personally, I feel like Robert Easter Jr. needs to move up. 'Cause like his last fight that he had, it looked like he ain't had no juice. It's like his body wasn't responding right. Like it don't want to go down to 135 no more. The motherfucker 6 foot down there. It needs to be at a higher weight. You know what I'm saying? So he gotta. It's like he gotta overtrain and he gotta overdrain to get down to that weight. So you know what I'm saying? His body ain't doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah,
You
he
know what I'm
looked he
saying?
looked sucked out in that weigh-in, man. He like I know they usually do, but he fucking looked sucked out in that weigh-in. He looked like fucking the Walking Dead, man, in that weigh-in.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, yeah. I mean, Robert Easter's he's a big boy. He probably will, if he's not already outgrown that weight. But it sure as hell doesn't help, man. When your ass is that big and shit, and you want to fucking fight in a phone booth against a little motherfucking midget.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, but it's one thing to fight on the inside and give up your height. But if you on the inside and you can't even snap your punches off, you can't even get off. It's like you thinking about it, but your body just ain't doing what you tell it to do. That you know what I'm saying? That's even worse.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
is.
mean, I agree. I mean, I'm not. I gotta go back and look at that fight, how he was responding. But I mean, shit, it doesn't help your cause, man, when you're constantly, because he fought the same way like that against Shafikov. Fought
Yeah,
the same way against Richard Comey, whatever his name was,
spot.
Comley.
You're spot on, Sanchez. You're spot
You
on.
know, he's being consistent, inconsistent. He's in damn, that shit sounds like a nice little rap and shit back in the days. From 3 times dope. He's insistent on being persistent or being inconsistent.
Yep. You got to fight
You
at the
know,
range that you're supposed to fight at. And the
but
thing
his
is with him is he could fight on the inside, but he should do it in spots and then fight fight tall. Like he can fight on the inside and the outside. It's just that he fights on the inside all the time. You got to fight. You got to know your distance. Mayweather made a great point when he said you got to know your distance, and you have to fight at the distance that's proper for you. And the thing is with Easter is he can fight on the inside, but that's all he does. You know what I mean?
Well, there have been tall fighters that made a career of fighting on the inside. I ain't
Very
got.
few have been very successful,
I
and those
understand.
that
I
have been
understand
successful
that,
have pretty good power.
but I'm not talking about success right now. I'm saying, like, even if you on the inside, you at
Paul
least want
Williams
to
was
be.
good at it.
I'm saying you at
Yeah.
least want to be able to let your hands go though.
Yeah.
If your body ain't responding, I don't care if you're on the outside. You ain't gonna be able
Yeah.
to let your hands go. I don't know if y'all ever felt that before, but I have. I have overtrained for a fight before. I was one of the motherfuckers that the coach got to kick out the gym. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't understand what they were trying to say. But I had that experience one time where a motherfucker overtrained and my shit
Yeah.
was not right. You know what I'm saying? And I
Preparation
know,
is key.
you know,
Preparation. If you fail to plan, you plan to
Hey,
fail.
hey, hey, Trey, in what round did you see Robert Easter looking like that? I mean, because I know he didn't start like that in the beginning.
well, it's been a while since I seen the fight. I haven't gone back and watched it again, but I just remember while watching the fight, it's like I
Yeah.
put myself in his shoes, and it's like it just felt like he just couldn't get off, like he couldn't throw those snapping, fast twitch punches like he normally does. Like everything looks slow twitch to me, and he's not a
Yeah.
slow
I
twitch
think
fighter. He's an explosive fighter. You know what I'm saying?
not not that I'm contradicting it, but could it be that Fortuna's elusiveness, and not being there, when he was ready to punch, frustrated him and got him tired?
Well, I mean that's a possibility, but what I was seeing, I was just looking at it's kind of like a quarterback or something. If you're watching a quarterback that got a big arm and you just see that ball flying off his
Yeah,
arm, like flying out his hand, it's like I,
and
I
he
was
can't
just
throw a 7 yard pass.
I was just looking for that explosiveness that I'm used to seeing. Like even if you missed the punch, I at least wanted to just see that soon that I've been seeing. I'm seeing soon, like everything just look just slowed down to me. You know what I'm saying?
When I
And I
when I
just felt
when I
I
was
think
watching,
he'll benefit from going up
yeah,
in weight a little bit, 140.
Yeah.
when I
That's
was watching that fight, what I gathered from it that I seen this is what I've seen. I mean, I'm not sure how he trained or how he came in, but I saw a Robert Easter that when he couldn't hit Fortuna the way he thought he was gonna, because Fortuna, he's known to be a guy, who's gonna stay there and brawl with you and duke it out.
Yeah,
But I don't think Robert Easter expected Fortuna to use the mobility, you know what I'm saying, that he used in that fight. I thought he expected the brawler Fortuna, and when he didn't get that and he couldn't land his shots or set up, I think he got frustrated, man, and mentally he got frustrated, in my opinion, more than he was physically. Now I could be wrong; it could have been the physical factor, but I just thought that Fortuna didn't um didn't allow him to set his feet so he could throw some punches. And
yeah,
he
but
would have avoided all that if he would have actually been fighting in range. He didn't need, he could have just try to control Fortuna with the jab. But I think Easter man does not know his identity as a fighter. You know, he
yeah,
says, "Yeah, I know I gotta use my range." Okay, when are you gonna start doing it, bro? You've said that like the last three fights.
yeah. It comes down to discipline for me because
yeah.
That's all I need.
I fucks with Easter, but if I'm talking in like in terms like I don't know like how he feels. Like I don't know. It's speculation. To me, is he's greatly skilled, but he makes these fights harder than they have to
On,
be because
yeah,
he don't fight at the distance that he should fight. You know what I mean? It's almost like if I was using analogy, Sugar Ray Leonard and Duran won. Sugar Ray Leonard fought Duran's fight, and it was a close fight. So if he could fight his fight and it be a close fight, if he would have just fought in on the inside in spots and then used his strength on the outside and box, he probably would have won. And that's what we seen in the second fight. So to me, to use that as an analogy, that's kind of what I see in Easter. Like you could fight on the inside because he does got good work on the inside, but you got to fight on the outside too. But that last fight I seen, he fought on the inside the whole time, and I'm like, I feel this guy, I feel Easter can beat this guy convincingly, and he just making it harder than it has to be. And then now what he gets stuck with is a controversial fight where a lot of people don't think he won. Like, you know what I mean? He didn't win as convincingly as he could have. I felt that he could have beat that guy
And
because
another
he was beating that guy at
and
his own
another
game.
and another physical attribute that 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 works against that he has that works against him in the inside is that Easter has a long neck, man. That means that he can't really hide his chin behind his shoulder because his neck is so long. You know what I'm
Yeah.
Yeah,
saying? So at the at the mid to so to the inside range to the fighting in the pocket,
Yeah.
his neck becomes a it becomes a liability, not an asset.
Yeah,
Yep.
I feel you on that for sure.
So
Look at Ward.
it's in his best interest, you know what I'm saying, to stay maintain range. Man, if Easter would at least man study some Larry Holmes and pick up at least 10% of what Larry used to do as a fighter, that guy would be extremely hard to beat
Yeah.
for anybody.
I actually normally like his jab pretty decently. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he's skilled. He's skilled, no doubt.
He,
But look
you
at
know, he
Ward. It goes back to my distant like that. Look at Ward, man. Ward does. It's not a simple thing, but it's a basic conception of what he does. Ward can fight at all distances, but Ward fights at the proper distance based on the opponent that he fights. He don't care if it's ugly. If he knows you can't fight mid range or in on the inside, that's where he goes. He's always at that proper distance to be the most effective. You know what I mean?
But one more thing about Robert
yeah, I
Easter,
mean,
I just saw that he turned 27 years old in January, and you know when you get to your upper 20s, that's when you start putting on a little weight and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's gonna have to get his ass out of 135, man. He's gonna have to go to 140 pretty
I
soon.
agree
yeah,
with you, Trey.
eventually,
I I agree.
yeah, because if he's actually having weight issues and fitness issues at 135 and he if he's weak, with his punches, you don't want to fight Mikey Garcia in that, under those circumstances. He's gonna get hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with the Perius. I agree with Trey. I find he's got a good knack of watching these guys wait, and I agree with Sanctus. So, like, what I'll add to top that off is he probably does. Now that you're saying that, Trey, he probably does need to move up. But what I will say, it's one thing to fix yourself physically, moving up, but you got to fix yourself fundamentally. Robert Easter can move up and be more comfortable, but if he doesn't pick up where he's supposed to fight at, it's going to be the same results. I find he got to
So
fix himself fundamentally too, right?
oh yeah, I
who
think
will
so.
call what fighter
Just
at
like I
140 would
told
cause
y'all about.
Robert Easter some real problems on the inside? Well,
You said what
What you
fighter
say?
would?
yeah, what fighter at 140 would actually cause him a lot major problems if he were to choose that same tactic?
Anybody
Well,
good because the guy gave him problems on the weight division down. So when you move up, that physical aspect's going to come into play. So the guys are going to be a little bit stronger and stuff. So I mean, the last guy gave him problems on the inside. That's why it was a controversial decision. So anybody in the top five for sure if he moves up.
and
I
That's
depending
one
on
of
think
the
how
things you got to
progress,
do.
I think
depending on
even
how
Hank Lundy
progress
this
look.
year. I think even Hank Lundy beats him.
It's very possible because part of moving up and acclimating isn't just physically. You have to move up in a way where you're fundamentally right, and you might have to adjust things, such as if you move up, if you start at 130, by the time you get to 147, you might have to be a little bit more defensive. So if you were having problems fighting at the range you were fighting at on a weight division down, if you go to 140, it's only going to get worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Man, and the scary part is, bro, that he has a huge window of potential.
Yeah, yeah. Like I like him.
He has a
Yeah,
he has a huge window, but I think it's just the the boxing IQ. It's not there, man.
and the IQ might be there, but sometimes it comes down to temperament. Timothy Bradley showed that he could box a little bit when what's his nuts took over him, Teddy Atlas. So you already knew, okay, well, the guy he had it up here to do it, and he had the skill to do it.
You
But
know,
in his previous fights, he was
But
throwing walls and stuff.
but
So to
but
me, sometimes it's about your temperament and your discipline.
but
It's about how you react in a fight.
at the same
What?
time, Timothy Bradley would try to do the right thing. Robert Easter Jr. comes out doing the wrong shit from the first round.
exactly.
Yeah,
Man, you
that's
know what?
true.
We on the same mental wavelength because
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was just gonna get into, Trey. And you're absolutely right. You know, Bradley would box you until your ass hit him with something and made his ass, brought that
yeah.
dog out of.
You had to instigate him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll try to box you and shit and try to be slick and avoid, but you tagged his ass and he said, "Fuck it, it's on," but Robert Easter, without getting hit, he's already, you know what I'm saying, playing into the opponent's card.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. So yeah, that's a good point. I don't really know what's going on. I don't know if it's I see. Like I don't understand how you got a guy that tall that at that level of boxing, and he's allowed to fight short. So
he should,
is it a case of he's not listening to his coach, or he's not getting? I just can't see a coach on that level
he should literally
not knowing that.
his manager should literally contact Larry Holmes and see if Larry would come in and work with Robert. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
On the mental of the jab and throwing the distance, man. And
yeah,
because whoever's
But
training
my
them,
thing
man. Yeah, go ahead.
but my thing is, all right, you killing yourself to make 135 and you making it so you can have an advantage, right? That's why people lose weight. So then once you get the advantage, you throw the advantage away by fighting the
yeah,
wrong fight. Like, what's the point of even being down there if you're not gonna use the fucking advantage of being tall?
Yeah.
yeah. Good point. Excellent point. I don't give a fuck if you're 130 or you're 240. If you're not implementing the right game plan, it's over.
And the thing is with Robert Easter is that he doesn't have fucking I mean, for his weight, he doesn't have game changing power where he's just gonna fucking slump everybody the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have the power there that's gonna, you know what I'm saying, compensate for his strategic deficiencies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cause if he could hit, bro, if he hit like fucking, let's say a Thomas Hearn or some shit like that, fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? Just go out there and let your hands go.
Yep.
From whatever distance you want to fight in, fuck it. If you clip a dude, you clip them, but it is what it is. But he doesn't have that type of power, you know.
No. You got to
So you don't have a,
implement those things.
you're having issues, with your weight. You're fighting the wrong shit. You don't have huge power. He has pretty decent power. I mean, I'm pretty sure he can knock motherfuckers out, but he doesn't have that, that game changing power. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, like he would definitely moving up in weight. There's question marks there. Like there's always question marks there with me. I don't make an opinion until I see it. Like I don't do speculation. Like if somebody says, oh well, somebody will look at somebody at 140 is a power puncher and say, oh well, they're going to do that at 147. Well, no, how do you know? You haven't seen them up there. You don't know how that's going to carry up there.
well, you see, this is when I say either it's your own personal boxing IQ or
Yeah,
that of the people around you that, you know what I'm saying, make you absorb that, Now look
Yeah,
at
but look at the instruction.
look at the difference between Robert Easter and David Benavidez,
yeah,
in his fight.
yeah,
The first fight, David Benavidez, you know what I'm saying, he made it harder up on himself because he didn't want to use the jab, he didn't want to use his range against Gabriel, right? Second fight he came, what's the first thing he starts doing? Using his range, using his jab. He established the jab and he dominated basically with the jab. He threw a lot of combinations, but the jab is what actually allowed him to control the opponent. So he
Yeah,
made the adjustments from one fight to the next. And
exactly.
Robert Easter has like at least 3 or 4 consecutive fights made the same, tactical error. So when is he
Yeah.
gonna start really, adjusting? Don't
Nah,
say, in your pre-fight interviews and all that, bro. This is something you should be doing already.
I don't think he being taught because when I watch his fights, I can't think of now time I done heard the trainers telling him to stay on the outside, use his jab, and stay on his toes. I ain't heard him say that now time. They don't
Yeah,
seem to
and
have
It
a
could be
problem
that
with that.
he has, yeah, he has a corner problem, man. He has to address that, you know what I'm saying, and get that taken care of, and start working with people who are gonna teach him. I mean, I'm telling you right now, the perfect trainer for Robert Easter would have been the late Emmanuel Stewart. He fought,
Who is
he
this
liked
trainer?
the tall fighters, and he loved fighters that could jab.
Who is this trainer? Ain't is his dad or some shit?
Yeah, Robert Easter Senior, I think.
Yeah. Like who
I
the fuck
mean,
is he? Like what has he done? You know what I'm saying?
to be honest with you, I don't even think Robert Easter beat the African kid, Richard Comey. I thought
I,
that fight was close as fuck. I
oh yeah, I
mean,
remember that fight. Yeah, I remember that fight. That was a damn good fight.
hey, they went at it.
Yeah,
Boy.
yeah, yeah. I remember. Yeah, yeah. I
The problem with Robert Easter is that why are you making, if he just changed a few things fundamentally, your fights could be a lot easier. You're gonna have longevity in your career.
that's what
You
I
know what I'm
say.
saying? You can make more money. Forget all about billions and all that, motherfucker. You ain't gonna be about 100 grand if you keep fucking fighting like that.
Yep. Because if he moves up, like I said, the blanks are gonna get filled in. He gonna be getting hit harder. You got to take a different approach when you move up a weight division. You know what I mean? The directory of the fight's not gonna look the same for the most part.
Remember, hey Ty, remember we were talking about self-evaluation as a fighter, right?
Yeah.
See, Robert Easter, last before this his last fight with Fortuna, he was saying, "Yeah, I know, I gotta be, I should use my range. I should." Well, so okay, you're aware of it. So if you're aware of it and you're not implementing, then you know what? At the end of the day, don't blame nobody but yourself. Not even your corner. Yeah, they ain't teaching you shit. But
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
but
aware of
think
that, you know what I'm saying? Then you're part of the problem.
but think about
Yeah.
this. This
What?
guy actively turns his advantage into a disadvantage because
Yeah.
if he's on the inside, he's a big ass target, and he got them long arms. If a guy got short arms, that's great real estate for him. So that has to be like some fucking stupidity, insanity, or something. Like, why would you take your advantage and intentionally make it a disadvantage? Like that doesn't make any sense to
It
me.
don't. You utilize your advantages, not throw them out the window. They're called advantages for a reason. So I don't understand it either, Trey. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like that's like a sniper fucking arguing with a motherfucker with a machete. The sniper will fucking get off the building and fucking want to dispute the motherfucker, bro, face to face.
Yeah.
If I get a fucking bazooka and you got a fucking knife, why am I dropping the bazooka and fighting
Yeah.
with nunchucks and fighting with
Yeah, I
nunchucks?
would.
I'm dropping the
I
bazooka
blow.
and I'm picking up the nunchucks. Why would I
I
do
got a
that?
bazooka, man. I'm blowing your building up with your ass in it, man. Fuck that, man. You ain't gonna have no fucking knife fight.
Yeah.
No,
For
I
real.
don't understand it. I mean, I'm not in there either, right? Sometimes when you get hit, you think different. It's easy for me to say, right? But
Yeah.
I could tell you, like, I never bullshit with you guys. I've done some boxing, but I'm not like I haven't done like the amount of boxing you did. But I've been in there and I've been sparring. And I tell you, the first initiative that made me want to correct something was getting snapped in my fucking lips.
Yeah.
So I don't understand it. I always said, okay, I got to figure out what my advantages are, what my strengths are, and I got to utilize them, not throw them out the window. Like that don't make no sense.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go back and play basketball if I'm going to do that because I'll be a lot more safer that way.
Yeah.
Hey, who held the belt that Robert Easter got? I mean, did he was it a vacant title he
You
fought?
remember when he beat that one dude, man, that had got knocked out by by Rancis Barthélemy. He beat him for a
Right.
vacant title, I think.
Oh,
It
he
was
beat
vacant.
what was his name? Agnes Mendy, Haney's Mendes or some shit.
I'm about to look it up. I know that that's the guy that Barthélemy knocked out after the bell, though.
And it
Right,
was a
right.
vacant title, wasn't it? It was vacant.
Hey, yeah,
Yeah.
Something like our Haney's Mendes or something.
I'm about to pull up the box red.
So it was a vacant title, right?
Yeah, it was. I think it
Yeah, it was
was.
vacant. It was vacant.
Damn, was it Argenis Mendez?
Yeah, our Haney's Mendes. Yeah,
Yeah, I think yeah, Argenis Mendez. Yeah, I think that was it.
and our Haney's
No,
Mendes got his ass. He got his ass whooped by Bartholomew twice.
no, it said he beat Richard Comey for the vacant IBF lightweight title. So he
That's
must
a
have beat
fight
Men.
that actually,
He must have beat
yeah, that's
Mendez
actually
title eliminator or some shit.
okay. Yeah, and that fight, he went like freaking the life and death with Richard Comey.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that was a good.
bro, every fucking fight, man, you can't have every fucking fight, bro, go like that, man. If you're gonna have some longevity in you, and the problem is,
Yeah,
he, he's doing it to himself. that's that's what I don't understand. I mean, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, that's his ass, that's his career. But you better hope Broner and shit is gonna put you on that freaking on that pension and shit.
yeah. You got to think about your
Cause
health. Way he fighting, man. That's just
yeah,
pure stupidity.
he took a lot of punches, man, from Fortuna, man. Two more fights like that, bro, and you getting knocked out by jabs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can't fucking yeah,
Do you guys?
you gotta implement the right game plan, especially when you look at Chocolatito. He moved up one division. He never made no adjustments. He wasn't the most defensive motherfucker as it is, and you seen what happened. Good night.
you
I
don't
knew that
take.
was going to happen to Chocolatito. He didn't have the defense. He didn't have the defense to move up divisions. I mean, he did because he did okay because he did move up divisions, but then you seen what happened.
You don't take a
What do
guy
you
that.
guys think about Kell Brook? Oh, go ahead, finish.
I was just gonna say, man, you don't take a guy that's built like Deontay Wilder and teach him how to fight like Mike Tyson. The way that
Yeah,
Robert East fighting shouldn't even be in his vocabulary because he should have been taught how to use his strengths and advantages from the get go. His first thought should be to be on the outside, pumping that jab, dropping that right hand behind that shit from the get go.
Should be his first line of defense.
Yeah. Well, go ahead though, bro. What you asking?
I was gonna ask you guys if any of y'all saw the Kell Brook fight.
Yeah,
No,
I
I
saw.
was downstairs. I was down here when I heard the stoppage.
Yeah, yeah. I saw it on YouTube afterwards. I like what I saw.
What do you guys think about Hearns? That version of Kell Brooks beats Errol Spence.
I didn't see it, so I can't say.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't want to
I mean,
put
but
Kell down or nothing because I told you I'm a Kell Brook fan. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he could beat Spence.
You're nicer than me because I
facts,
don't think he should be fighting.
He went out there and handled his business though, Ty. So you got to at least give him that. He didn't get his orbital bone broke like you wanted to bet that he would.
Plus, you know what though? But that to me, that to me is just it's
yeah,
good that he won. He got his confidence back up. But to me, that's not a blessing in disguise. That's a curse in disguise. Almost like Roy Jones, and Roy Jones is my favorite of all time. But when Roy Jones would get certain wins in there, it kind of it made him want to keep going. And then it turned out like he started getting knocked out and stuff. Like the guy that he fought, Cal Brook, isn't a world beater. So I mean, I don't. It gives Cal initiative to fight, but you got two plates in
I,
your eyes, man.
I think
What's going to happen?
I think Ty has a
Yeah.
point with that because if you look at that gift that Gamboa got, you know what I'm saying, to extend his career, I think that might be more of a curse than a blessing. I mean,
No.
he'll get another payday and shit, but next fight, you could probably see you might see Gamboa man being hauled off in a motherfucking stretcher and put in the ambulance.
Yeah.
And a cumulative amount of punches is going to fuck Brook up. It's going to fuck him up. So I mean, it's only a matter of time. I think he's fucking skilled, as skilled as you can
Absolutely.
get. He's going to run in somebody's going to give him an accumulative amount of punches, and then he needs less cumulative amount of punches at a higher weight division. Like I mean, there's guys up at 154 that hit harder than Spence. I'm not saying Spence can't hit, but I mean, for argument's sake, there's at least guys at 154 that can hit as hard as Spence. So why would the outcome be any different?
You
Like
got
you can't be
motherfuckers
getting
that
hit.
get
You can't
hard
be getting
enough.
hit with them plates. You can't be getting hit with them plates in your eye. The tension's going to spread. So
Yeah,
all the power
I'm
to
so
him, man. I ain't
tired.
gonna hate on him. I ain't gonna hate on him. Do his thing. But yeah, man, that's what I'm like. I'm honest, and I don't like him in the ring. It might have been a
It gets
blessing in disguise if he would have lost that fight, but it is what it
it
is,
gets so
man. Let him fight.
emotional to hear how big Kell Brook is. You know, I know it's true. He's a big boy. You know what I'm saying, for a welterweight, and he's like a hybrid. You know what I'm saying, welterweight
Mhm.
slash fucking junior middleweight.
Yeah.
But
He don't look like a full junior.
yeah,
What's
he
gonna happen if he fights
looks
Charlo
big.
and Charlo
He
gets
looks
He
four
not
good
fighting no
significant rounds
motherfucking
in?
Charlo. He ain't fighting no Charlo.
Well, let's just say for scenario's sake, what
He fighting
happens if he fights
Dom
the
Ali.
54 Charlo and Charlo gets four good convincing rounds in, which is possible? What the fuck does people think is going to happen to his eyes?
Man, Kell Brook. One thing I will say, man, Kell Brook got a corner that's gonna throw that towel in. They not gonna just keep him
Oh
out
yeah,
there
yeah,
in the
they ready.
wolves. They gonna throw that bitch in.
Yeah, but are they gonna throw the towel in before he's fucking blind and his eyes are falling on the floor or what? You know what I mean? Like
They done it
I don't
so
know.
far.
I'm
I
not feeling
feel
it. I'm not feeling. But I mean, I ain't gonna tell another man what to do with his own business. But yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'd say it about anybody. You got two titanium plates in your eyes. Not one, two. One's bad
Wow.
enough because I told you that tension spreads from one plate to the other eye. You seen what happened the last fight at 147. Errol started chopping him up. Now you got two. You know what I mean? Your brain's right behind that. Like I don't know. I
Yo,
I'll
what
leave
if
it
he
alone.
gets hit in the
I'm not feeling it.
what if he gets hit in the face and his face just cracks and shit like and it's like an egg, like like you drop an egg and it does that
yeah.
fucking sound.
Sugar Ray Leonard fucking retired because of a detached retina because his doctor recommended, listen, you get a detached retina, you're having eye problems, you might go blind. So if a doctor is recommending you possibly retire from a sport that you get punched from a detached retina, what the fuck do you think the recommendation should be if with two titanium plates in your eyes, like fucking RoboCop? You know what I
Maybe
mean?
Cyborg from Teen Titan Go.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't want to shit on Cal Brook. I don't want to make it look like a shit on Cal Brook because I really do like him. But
Yeah.
it's a health issue
But
with me.
that's why we shitting on Kell Brook, because we like him. We want him to, you know what I'm saying, to enjoy his money and be healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we understand that he's taking sustained damage, man. And at the end of the day, your health is worth more than money, man.
Yeah. But
To
I mean,
some people,
I'm going to leave it alone because a lot of people said Roy Jones should have retired. I thought Roy Jones shouldn't have been fighting that cruiserweight at his age because he was fighting at a weight that he didn't even fight when he was younger in his prime, and that's not smart. But I mean, what another man does is what another man does. But since we're talking boxing, that's my 2 cents on it. Like I
The
don't
only
know.
fighting I want to see is Roy Jones beat the shit out of Jim Lampley.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I
That's
like
all I
it.
want. I want to see him back slap the shit, or Max Kellerman. Somebody just slap that dude, man. That's all. Can I
Yeah.
get one?
I'm
Man, I
not a
want to
Lamprey
see
fan.
Andre Ward slap his ass.
Yeah, that won't happen.
Because
Oh shit. Well, you know, for 9 over there live, y'all want to go over there and talk some shit?
I gotta fucking hit her out because I gotta get up here in 6 or 7 hours for work. So
Oh man, I forgot
What's
it's.
Fanon talking about? What's the title? What's the title? What's the title of the stream?
I think I saw a picture of Charlo.
yeah, he's
That
on
was
live. I think he sent me a message earlier saying that he was going live. I just because I invited him here, but we
No,
were
he
doing
got
this, so I didn't
Deontay
bother.
Wilder.
I didn't say
No,
nothing.
I'm looking at the wrong. He got the Charlo. He got Jamal and Deontay Wilder on the cover.
Yeah.
Okay, we could do that. I'm gonna head on over there.
All right, throw it out to him there. That tell him to get on one of these hangouts with us.
Yeah, for
All right.
sure.
I mean, we'll do that. You guys be easy.
All right.
Yeah,
All
good
right.
talking to y'all, bro.
Take care.
Peace.